Good morning. Andy Burnham is plotting a major crackdown on youth sickness benefits. Young claimants could lose their payments unless they agree to training or voluntary work.
Right, well then, more than 430,000 young people now claim sickness benefits as the Prime Minister scrambles to cut Britain's staggering £333 billion welfare bill in order to fund defence and social care.
But could the plans trigger another Labour civil war? And should young people with anxiety and autism be forced to work for their benefits?
And German police have shot dead the man suspected of driving a van into a crowd near Berlin's Pride Festival, killing a woman and injuring at least 29 people.
British tourists are being urged to flee southwestern France as apocalyptic wildfires close in on Bordeaux. More than 250,000 people have been evacuated so far, with the flames now at the city's gates. We're going to bring you the very latest.
And Prince Harry set to return to Britain within weeks, and the King will once again offer him a room at Buckingham Palace. Is it a sign the royal family rift has finally healed?
A very good morning. Luke Littler continued his dominance of darts by retaining the World Match Play title and smashing records held by the legendary Phil Taylor. In the Premier League, meanwhile, Arsenal are ready to go to £400,000 a week to land Vinnie Jr. and Lando Norris is victorious at the Hungarian Grand Prix.
Hello there. A few showers around this morning, otherwise still very dry across many areas. Not only this, but we've got some summer heat returning. Stay tuned and I'll have all the details.
Good morning. It's just gone 6 o'clock. I'm Ellie Costello.
And I'm Alex Armstrong, and this is GB News Breakfast.
It sounds like it was an absolute nightmare in Gatwick Airport yesterday. Have you heard about this?
Yes, no running water.
No running water, which means the restaurants were shut, cafes
That's a disaster.
shut, no toilets for
Can you imagine
anybody. There were the pregnant people and the elderly who weren't allowed to go to the toilet.
Have you been without water before? At home?
For a few hours when
Yeah,
the plumber's
I have,
been...
for a few hours.
It's not fun.
I've had a week of no water before,
Did
and
you?
it was absolutely dreadful, I have to say. I'm really lucky my gym was just like a couple of
Did
minutes
you
walk.
persuade your parents to pay the bills in the end?
No, no. It was my own flat, so I was living in Southampton at the time, renting. But the whole building went down for a whole week,
no.
and they brought out tanks of water just so we could drink something and boil water to you know, for food and
awful.
stuff. But other than that, it was horrendous, and it made me it made me realise how much water we actually use for everything.
It's not something you think about,
No.
is it? But
I know.
I can't believe
And we've been used to it so cheaply as well until recently.
Yeah.
It's so true.
But
so true.
how can that even happen in
know.
one of the busiest airports in this country? It's hard to
Incredible.
believe, isn't it?
I know,
Incredible.
it really is.
What a way to start your holiday off.
Oh, I know. Anyway, Gatwick Airport have said that the water pressure is back this morning, so hopefully things are getting more back to normal today. But we're going to have the latest on that with travel correspondent Simon Calder a little bit later on in the programme.
Brilliant.
Yep.
As always.
Now, at 6:03, Andy Burnham is reportedly planning a crackdown on youth sickness benefits in an effort to reallocate billions of pounds in funding for social care and defence.
Well, young people will face being stripped of their benefits unless they agree to do some form of training or volunteer work under the proposed measures.
Well, the proposal comes as part of an effort to reduce the country's £333 billion welfare bill. Yes, you heard that right. And ministers hope that training and voluntary work will help to bring sick young people back into the workforce.
Well, with us now, as you'll all know him, won't you, is Christo Foufas, of course. Christo.
And as a young person myself, that's obviously
relate to
why
this.
you've brought me in to discuss this story. Yes, it's a crackdown on these youth sickness benefits. NEETs, those are the people who are aged 16 to 24 who aren't in education or employment. They seem to have no real prospects. And as you outlined, £333 billion is the current welfare bill, due to hit about £400 billion by the end of this decade. And so, bearing in mind where borrowing is, bearing in mind that we've the highest tax burden in history, if Andy Burnham wants to have some of these big plans that he's been making a lot, because all he seems to be doing is making plans without any detail, then he's going to have to find the money somewhere. And in fairness, on paper, this is what a lot of commentators like myself have been calling for. Look, we've got to get the benefits bill down, but the devil will be in the detail. And bearing in mind the last time there was an attempt to bring down the benefits bill by some pretty minor changes by Keir Starmer and Rachel Reeves. That was the first real backbench revolt. They started to smell blood. That really was the first nail in the coffin of the Starmer-esque government. It'll be interesting to see what happens here. But something does need to be done, because the number of young people who are literally doing nothing due to things like anxiety, it's an absolutely ridiculous number.
It's a difficult time for Andy Burnham, because he'll be looking at youth, trying to cut youth benefits, and you do that because you don't want to touch other benefits, right? Because you don't want to touch benefits of people that vote. But he's also got to consider the fact that youth unemployment's at its highest in God knows how many decades, and he'll have to then basically say to those people, you're going to be going on the unemployment register, which will, of course, put that number up even higher.
And what's interesting is that there was a report over the weekend that showed the number of Saturday jobs that have gone. A lot of the youth unemployment that we're seeing now are as a result of Labour's own policies, or as a result of the national insurance hike, there is a result of the minimum wage brought in by Keir Starmer. So, again, will this be then him trying to backtrack on Starmer policies? And then that gets us into the realms as well of the manifesto. Because if Burnham is going to start changing things drastically, he ruled out over the weekend an election, which doesn't seem very democratic. And just to your point, and I don't know whether we'll discuss it now, we may discuss it in the next hour, but it might not want to touch the pensions because of people who are more likely to vote. Well, there's talk of mandatory voting as well as one of his plans today as well. So perhaps that will be the way he solves the problem. But we've 430,000 people claiming sickness benefits, driven in large by a jump in mental health conditions like anxiety, autism and ADHD. Now, credit where it's due, getting to work or getting into training is going to help with those conditions. It's whether this is all going to be talk, it's whether all of this is just lip service, because those on the backbenches won't let him go ahead with this.
And it's all very well saying getting to work or getting to training. Are the jobs going to be available? Is the work going to be there for them? Because it's so expensive now to hire young people, businesses can't afford to do so.
And that's absolutely one of the problems. And there was another Starmer policy brought in the last few months towards the dying embers of his government, which was if you were hiring a young person who'd been out of work, I think it was for 6 months, you would get a £3,500 payment. So you have this perverse situation where national insurance, employers are having to pay more money to employ people, but then the government will pay you back some money if you do employ an 18-year-old. Well, to me, if you just don't make it so expensive to start with, you're not going to have to make that payment. So it's all a little bit backward, but you're quite right. And also, the economy needs to be growing, that we need to have an economy that's firing on all cylinders in order for people to be employed. But again, and I loathe to give him two pieces of praise, because I do think Burnham is talk on a lot of things. We did see that VAT cut for hospitality as well, and a lot of younger people do get their first jobs in hospitality. Will it be enough to have the hospitality sector wanting to hire lots of 18-year-olds? I suspect not, because of all the other taxes, and we've not even gone into energy bills as well, which is one of the major outlays for businesses at the moment, which I think is probably stopping them hiring other people. So whether any of this will be enough for it all just to look good on paper, and is this all, which I suspect might be the case, because there's a lot of talk of Burnham being a lot of style over substance. Look at what I've planned, I can't get it through, not my fault, Governor, and then probably talking about buses in Manchester, because that's all he seems to be able to discuss.
Well, let's just... Some of the statistics here are shocking. 743,000 young people aged 16 to 24 are unemployed between March and May 2026. That's an increase of 112,000. Over 1.0 million young people were not in employment, education or training, that's NEETs, in early 2026, crossing the million mark for the first time since 2013. It's astounding. It's really astounding. But on top of that, we've also got potential of scrapping council tax and stamp duty. The man's got his hands full.
This is an outrageous story. And again, I'll repeat the point. I really think we're getting into the realms of him needing to call an election if he's going to bring this sort of thing in. But this has been Andy Burnham's real bugbear, this real thing about trying to reform council tax. It's something that he's spoken about for years, and now he's actively considering plans, it's been reported, to replace both council tax and stamp duty with a fixed annual charge based on 0.48% of the value of your home. Now, the iPaper has been told that Treasury officials are looking at these options in order to overhaul the way in which property is taxed. There's either this proportional property tax, which I mentioned, or perhaps some sort of land value tax. But that is going to put bills massively up in the southeast. Council tax has gone up year after year after year for people for services that aren't particularly great. It's going to be what people, I think, will presume is an envy tax. But also, if it's going to replace stamp duty, well, if you own your home, you've already paid stamp duty. So what, you're going to pay twice? Or you're going to pay a much higher council tax bill so that other people don't pay stamp duty? How is that particularly
fair? This would be like poll tax. This, in my opinion, this will end up with riots, poll tax sort of stuff.
I agree.
Because it's not only that, you're also thinking about all the people who are renting, who will be in expensive properties but are paying a rent instead of a mortgage. How's that going to work? All of this stuff is going to be a disaster. This is why no one's touched it.
Yeah, and absolutely. And I think that what you'll also see is either landlords, again, choosing to sell because the amount that they will have to pay will be going up, or deciding to recategorise their properties as commercial. Either way, it's going to lead, I think, to housing stock going lower, because landlords will want to pass on some of these costs if they're going to be subject to them. But also, you're absolutely right. I don't see how families who might have bought their house a few years ago, who have, let's not forget, a huge mortgage. These aren't homes that are built outright. I'd have more sympathy for this policy if it was based on an equity of a property. If you owe, the amount of the property that you don't owe on a mortgage. But if you own a £500,000 property and it's mortgaged for £400,000, well, you don't own that £500,000 property. So why should you be paying a proportion of its overall value instead of council tax and instead of stamp duty, which you'll have already paid to buy that property? I think that this is absolutely outrageous, and it's going to be a tax on the south of England.
OK, Christo, thank you so much. We'll see you again in the next hour. You will have a view on that one. Let us know what it is. gbnews.com/you'll say.
Indeed. Right, should we have a quick look at your weather with Honor?
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Box Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
Hello there, good morning. Welcome to your GB News weather update from the Met Office. Fewer showers around compared to what we had yesterday. Still very dry across much of England and Wales. Not only that, but we're also going to see temperatures climb through the early part of this week. For now, though, mostly dry for many areas. Some sunshine across much of the east, clouding over from the west through the course of the morning. Just a few showers filtering through, but actually most of these easing away by the afternoon. So mostly dry day ahead for many areas. Some fairly decent sunny spells across much of England and Wales, certainly towards the south. This is where we'll see the best of the temperatures, highs of around 26 degrees Celsius, but even further north, highs widely in the low 20s, so still feeling warm in the brightness. Then to finish off the day, across many eastern areas of Scotland, it should be mostly dry, but there will still be some showers pushing in from the west, filtering through at times. Similar across Northern Ireland, some showers before some longer spells of rain just start to edge their way in further west. Some drizzly showers perhaps across northwest England and parts of Wales, but still very dry for many areas. Through the overnight period, we'll start to see a bit of a north-south split in our weather, turning very unsettled towards the northwest with some spells of rain pushing their way northeastwards. This will start to turn quite heavy for some areas during the early parts of the morning. Once again, a mix of cloud, and it's likely the clearest skies will be across the far southeast. But for most, it's a slightly warmer night to come, especially across southern areas of England and Wales. Now on Tuesday, quite a lot of rain around towards the north. This will gradually push its way northeastward, still with some heavy areas of rain at times, eventually clearing for much of Northern Ireland, northern parts of England and Scotland, so brighter here by the afternoon, bar a few showers. But towards the south of this, it's still another dry day with some sunny spells by the afternoon. Temperatures higher compared to what we'll have today as well, pushing into the high 20s, if not the low 20s, across the north.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Box Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
Just want to bring you this from Derek, who says, morning, you two. Part of the issue for young people is that us older people are working longer. Retirement is 67 at the moment, and it just keeps on going up. So where jobs used to come up through retirement, they're not now, and therefore we're not creating those jobs for younger people.
It's interesting. I do think AI plays a big part in this.
Oh, absolutely it does,
it
yeah.
really...
Because those entry-level roles are gone.
Gone. The stuff, even just basic admin tasks, internships that businesses would find helpful, they're just going to ChatGPT.
Yeah.
That is a fact. That's a fact, unfortunately. And I think it's going to get worse.
Yeah, I think you're right. It's a changing world out there, isn't it?
It is.
Let us know what you think. gbnews.com/you'll say. But for now, at 6:15, the man suspected of driving a van into a crowd at a pride parade in Berlin has been shot and killed by police. It's after officials suggested that it was an Islamist terror attack.
Well, Abdul B was a German citizen with Lebanese heritage and was previously arrested in Lebanon for trying to join ISIS and planning a terrorist attack.
Well, one person was killed and at least 29 others were injured when a van was driven into the crowd. The suspect then emerged from the car and began attacking people with what's being described as a stabbing weapon, probably a machete.
Christ, it really is horrifying to hear those things. I remember the news on the weekend breaking that. It was incredible stuff, it really was. We are now joined by former police superintendent and terrorism expert Martin Gallagher. Martin, thanks for joining us this morning. Well, I guess the good news is that this horrible, vile individual is dead. The police did catch him after 20 hours, but it will leave a sense of concern for the people of Berlin and their safety. And what will police be doing now to make sure that there's not a copycat attack in quick succession?
Good morning, Alex. Yes, you're quite right that this will leave a significant degree of fear. This isn't new. This started really in 2016 when lone wolf attacks accelerated dramatically across the West. I read online that they're looking at raising the threat level in Germany. That's not closing the stable door after the horse has bolted. What you tend to find with attacks like this is that there can be copycat attacks undertaken. So it's a wise move by the German authorities, and certainly something we should be conscious of here in the United Kingdom, that this hasn't gone away, this threat from those who align themselves with Islamic State. I certainly think that there needs to be consideration of the fact that this gentleman, this attacker who was able to carry out this attack, was able to hire a van. The fact that that he was allowed to do that after he'd been arrested for trying to join Islamic State in Lebanon, and that he could still go and do that with the attacks we've had with vehicles in recent years.
You mentioned that the threat from those aligning themselves with Islamic State hasn't gone away. How concerned do you think authorities here are that we could see a copycat-style attack in this country?
I think they should be very concerned because there's a strange alignment between the Hamas and Islamic State conflicts, and both are very live at the moment, as you both know. And the fact that we've got radicalised individuals in respect of both mean that the threat remains here in the United Kingdom, and we've seen that all through the last couple of years where we've had attacks linked to Hamas. But these individuals conflate the issues, particularly the lone wolf self-radicaliser, and that's something we should be very alive to. And I think this whole thing about being able to hire a vehicle, which is essentially a weapon, those that we know are connected to terrorism, why should they be allowed to do that? There should be some sort of means, I would suggest, to prevent that from happening.
Martin, what really is the best thing we can do here? I mean, as you correctly identify, I mean, someone can just hire a van and commit these lone wolf attacks. What can we do to keep people safe? We saw this situation in Australia was it less than a year ago, about a year ago, where a father and son opened fire. One of the big problems they had there was that these men weren't known to authorities because they'd planned everything inside their family. I guess maybe the question I should ask you, Martin, is how at risk are we at this point in time for a similar attack to happen here?
Well, I certainly don't think we should be complacent, Alex. That's for sure. I think that the temperature at the moment round about terrorism is high, and that we should be conscious that this is a possibility, particularly in crowded places. But the counter to that is you don't want to scare people so that they don't go about their normal life, because then the terrorists have won. So it's all about putting measures in place to keep people safe when they are about their normal business or attending an event. And then the other side of that, putting in measures both to identify those who've been radicalised that are prepared to carry out attacks, but also looking at what is it that is causing them to go down this rabbit hole. In terms of the individual in Germany, here's somebody who was connected to crime. He'd committed robberies. Islamic State prey on that and look for the perverse redemption piece, come and, act with us, and that clears your debts in terms of crime, and you're also ridiculous rewards that you'll receive for that post-death. We need to look at what's driving youngsters, youths, into thinking that that's better than living a normal life in Western society. That's the crux of things. It's persuading people that that's not what to do.
OK, Martin Gallagher, really good to get your expertise on this. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks, Martin. Scary, isn't it?
Oh, just awful, just absolutely horrific. When those details came through over the weekend, you were on air, weren't you?
Yeah, I was, yeah.
Yeah, and you just see it time and time again, don't you?
It's just terrifying. It's just terrifying to think it, and it's always a celebration or something nice that's happening, and I think people are constantly looking over their shoulder now, which shouldn't be the case.
And you can't blame them,
no.
can you?
No.
Now, 21 minutes past 6, it's time for our daily reflection.
The GB News Daily Reflection.
Hi, I'm Chris Tufnell, a vicar in the Church of England. The things that grab the news headlines tend to be big, dramatic things: elections, wars, economic shocks. But some of the most powerful forces in the world work quietly and out of sight. Jesus loved to tell parables, stories with a meaning. And one of them was this. He said, "The kingdom of heaven, his kingdom, is like yeast that a woman took and mixed into about 60 pounds of flour until it worked all through the dough." What's he saying? Yeast is tiny, it's hidden, it's easy to overlook, yet it has a disproportionate power. Despite appearances, it has the power to transform everything it touches. Jesus says his kingdom is like that. It starts small and unimpressive, but there's hidden power there. That principle has been played out in the history of Christianity as a whole. It began with a penniless preacher and a handful of followers. Jesus had no political power, no army, no wealth or influence. Yet today, billions of people call themselves Christians. Why? Because there's a quiet power in the message about Jesus. And still today, I see the good news about Jesus transforming people's lives. Quietly, but definitely from the inside out. Impressive? No. Or not to begin with. Powerful? Yes. Like yeast in dough, the message of Jesus has the power to transform us.
I think there's so much going on in the world. The daily reflection, for me, is one of the standout things we do here.
Yes, I think we're the only place that does anything like it,
I think
aren't
you
we?
might be right, actually. Yeah.
It's so vital just to take those few minutes of calm and reflection with everything going on in today's world.
It really does. All right, well, look, still to come. Prince Harry is set to return to Britain within weeks.
Oh, again?
Again, he's coming back. He's here, there, and everywhere. He's in Australia at the moment, I think, isn't he? With Meghan's doing MasterChef.
I think it's just coming out on TV now.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, you might be right there. Well, apparently the King's going to offer Harry a room at Buckingham Palace.
Ah, will he accept it this time?
Yes. Well, that's true. Maybe the royal family rift has healed, but first. Apocalyptic wildfires are closing in on Bordeaux in France as British tourists are urged to flee.
We'll bring you the very latest next.
at GB News, we made a promise to tell your stories.
And on the 6th of August, we're marking 5 years of doing exactly that.
Celebrate with us by having your say. Join in the debates live on TV and radio.
And meeting your favourite presenters across the country, from Leeds to Aberdeen, from Belfast to Barry Island.
Plus, join me in Essex for our biggest live show of the year. Scan the QR code or visit gbnews.com/celebrate. Terms and conditions apply.
At GB News, we love to hear from you, our loyal community. So drop us a line at gbnews.com/yoursay. There you can talk to each other and also to the presenters live on air. gbnews.com/yoursay, because GB News is your channel, Britain's news channel.
Some people enjoy lazy Sunday mornings, but not me.
What's the truth of the matter? So that's a very live question. Would you support him if he waters down these plans?
Before the spin sets in, I'll be getting to the truth.
This is personal.
No soft questions, no easy answers.
It's one thing if the state has rules in this country. It's another thing whether the police and others actually police them.
Setting the agenda and holding those in power to account.
You can't really blame her if the system is set up this way. You will not want to miss it, trust me.
The Camilla Tominey Show, Sundays from 9:30, only on GB News.
Welcome back to Breakfast. It's 6:27. Now, Gatwick Airport says it's starting to see its water supply return, thankfully, after passengers were left with no working toilets or running water yesterday, as the airport had been hit with a major outage.
How does this happen? That's what I want to know. How on earth does this happen? Well, both terminals at the UK's second biggest airport, busiest airport, should I say, lost running water after a power failure at the treatment works that serves the area.
Well, elsewhere, but sticking with the travel theme, tourists are being warned to stay away from southwest France, where flames are now just 9 miles from the city of Bordeaux, and officials are considering a total evacuation of the city.
Well, Simon Calder, the travel correspondent at The Telegraph, is joining us now. Simon, we've just seen some of those pictures of France, and it's absolutely devastating, Simon. Would you warn people to stay away if they're thinking of flying out there at this point in time?
Well, I've had lots of people getting in touch and simply asking, should I just cancel my trip because I'm heading for southwest France? And the answer is, it kind of all depends. Sophie Broca, who is the prefect of the whole Nouvelle-Aquitaine region in southwest France, basically told the media yesterday, please stay away. We do not wish you to add to the problem. And that's understandable. But it's also the case that many parts of that region are actually unaffected by fires. I'm just looking at the map right now put out by the resource management people in France, and certainly across to the west and southwest of Bordeaux, there's serious problems. We've been hearing about possibly fires reaching the gates of Bordeaux, but elsewhere things are normal. So if you have a holiday booked maybe to Cap Ferret, the area that first saw the terrible fires when they took control overnight Friday into Saturday, then that trip, that will not be going ahead. You can see from these pictures that it is not a place where anybody can have a holiday. Elsewhere, though, if you were heading down maybe to the beaches further south around Biarritz, that would probably be okay. It's complicated also because what are the rules from your travel company? British Airways, for instance, tells me it's absolutely fine if you are book in southwest France at the moment, book to fly back from Bordeaux. You can change without penalty to come back earlier. And if you have a booking in the next few days, you can postpone that trip. But there will be lots of people, particularly since there's fires elsewhere in France, thinking, oh my goodness, am I going to be okay? And unfortunately, at this stage, no other part of France, if you're heading there, will you have any rights to cancel, and your travel insurance will not be interested in reimbursing you either.
Advice, Simon. Elsewhere, can we talk about the situation at Gatwick Airport? It looks as though the water pressure is starting to come back this morning. But what on earth happened at the weekend?
It was absolutely miserable. So there is a water treatment works called Bow Beach, just to the northeast of the airport. It supplies thousands of homes as well as Gatwick Airport itself. Now, if you're at home, it's annoying, but you can probably find a way to cope. If you are Britain's second busiest airport with 80,000 people travelling out, it got very messy very quickly. It started fairly early in the morning. We had many flights. The flights were actually unaffected, but people certainly were affected. All the catering outlets closed, apart from a few very limited ones. At no point did they have no toilets. They had some which were working all the time, and they brought in some portaloos, but it must have been very uncomfortable for everybody. The good news is that the pressure started to build up yesterday mid-evening, and the airport says that everything this morning is working normally, and you'd never know there would be a problem. Let's hope that's right.
Simon,
it stays that way.
Yeah, well, let's hope so. I can't imagine going to the airport and not being able to wash your hands or just even eat food or have a glass of water if you needed to. It's absolutely incredible. So a weekend of travel chaos plus those wildfires on top of all of that as well. Not a great time to be travelling in the height of summer, of course, on top of all of that. Yeah. Simon, always a pleasure to have you here on Breakfast. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thanks, Simon.
Keep in touch. And, well, look, if you indeed are travelling to work or perhaps school, is school still on?
I don't think school's still on.
I don't know.
I think they've all wrapped up now.
Yeah, but I've seen some kids going around in uniform still.
27th of July, come on, they'll all be off now, surely.
Yeah, you would have thought so. Well, if you're going to work, here's your traffic and travel update.
This is the latest AI travel news from gbnews.com. In Kent, drivers on the M20 eastbound at Junction 7 will encounter roadworks with one lane closed. Northamptonshire's M1 southbound at Junction 18 is also undergoing improvements, causing a lane restriction. West Yorkshire's A1M is restricted due to roadworks between junctions 43 and 44 northbound. On Birmingham's M6, road upgrades cause lane closures between junctions 5 and 4A. Meanwhile, Buckinghamshire's M40 southbound between junction 5 and 4 is affected by maintenance. Cheshire's M56 eastbound and Coventry's M45 eastbound near Rugby Face Lane closures. For more travel news, go to gbnews.com.
Now, do stay with us. Still to come, Aidan has got all your sports.
Yes, indeed, lots to look back on. Luke Littler continued his dominance of darts by winning the World Match Play title and smashing records held by the legendary Phil Taylor. Find out how after the break with me.
I've been in Westminster for a long time, but I know that though power may be here, its effect on people's lives is across the whole of the country. We may be where rules are made, but it's where they're implemented that matters. Join me, Jacob Rees-Mogg, for forthright and frank discussion on where Britain has come from, where it's going, and where it will end up. That's State of the Nation, Monday to Thursday, 8 to 9 o'clock. Vox Populi, Vox Dei.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation,
no,
isn't it?
because
the failure is
you're deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back.
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
And we do not shy away from the difficult stuff. Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood. So join me on Jubes & Co. weeknights at 6 p.m. only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Britain is not just a geographical expression. We are a people bound together by history and culture that are distinctively British. Join me to celebrate our music, theatre, artworks and literature, which we can explore and enjoy together.
Everybody's welcome.
Sunday with Michael Costello. Every Sunday at 11 a.m. on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
As soon as it hits 11 and the headlines come in,
Late Edition brings you the breaking news from all the front pages.
because the news is going to happen.
So get a head start today.
Patrick Christie's tonight, Late Edition.
Alex Armstrong tonight, Late Edition. From 11 o'clock every night.
Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
From the school run to the home run, watch a new show for all of Britain.
He can say whatever he wants.
A straight talking show where all voices are heard.
And, you know, when are we going to stop talking about smashing the gangs and actually do it?
With the stories that matter from every part of our country.
There's a bit of a crash landing there for your Chancellor.
Bold, fearless and standing up for you. That's me, Martin Daubney, 3 p.m. till 6 p.m, weekdays, here only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Do you trust what you're being told? Good, because neither do I.
Those are just facts.
I'm Alex Armstrong, and on my show, we'll expose the spin.
Well, I want to answer that, because you didn't let me last time, because you always speak over me.
The broken promises.
To deny that is denying the truth.
And the hypocrisy.
Needs to
stop.
You think we can allow?
Politics, policy, parliament. Nothing is off limits. No sugarcoating, no fear of offence, just the truth laid bare. Tune in every Saturday and Sunday at 9 p.m. for Alex Armstrong Tonight, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Right, well, it's time to go through the sports now with Aidan McGee. Aidan, good morning.
Good to see you both.
Good to see you too.
Can we start with Luke Littler? Of
course we can.
Because this is the teenage sensation whose success, and now you'd have to say his dominance, knows no bounds. It just keeps rumbling on all the time. He beat the 7th seed Gerwyn Price 18-9 rather at the Winter Garden in Blackpool yesterday to retain the World Match Play title. Now, that wasn't just the end of it, because not only does it signal his continued dominance of the sport, but he also broke some records held by the legendary Phil Taylor, the 16-time world champion. The weekly average that Littler achieved eclipsed Phil Taylor's 106, so it's 111 to 106. I don't want to bore you with statistics, but even his final average was heavier than Phil Taylor. I remember when those were set back in the day, Ellie, and nobody ever thought they would be beaten. They were set in 2010 and 2013. How high can this guy go? Because we're beginning to wonder. He's still
He's 19.
I know, it's extraordinary.
Yeah.
Extraordinary. He won his first title, 2 years ago.
Wow.
And every sport needs a standout competitor who's just a little bit ahead of everyone else. That's the reason that that golf clings to Tiger Woods, even though he's won one major since 2008. They cling to him because he's an era where they had someone out the front who made everyone else richer.
Yes.
And some sports don't have that at the moment. Darts didn't have it for years because there was a lull between Phil Taylor and Luke Littler. Also, darts, because Luke Littler is young and because he's precocious and he's sexy, it means that they've got someone out in front now who they can really hang their hat on. The marketeers can get involved in it, the advertisers can push it, and it makes the sport much, much bigger, much more attractive a proposition.
He's got so much time in his career ahead of him.
Oh, without doubt. Look, the other thing is that there are going to be challenges to that, because they've got this thing called the Junior Darts Corporation. So what Darts realised some years ago is that we're not getting players until their early 20s, because you can't play darts, Ellie, until you got into a pub.
Of course.
So they get the Junior Darts Corporation, so they're getting competitors at the same time football gets them, maybe 10 or 11. Go and throw a dart, you don't have to drink a pint. Can if you want. Well, no, not really. You drink a pint of something, but just not beer. And you throw and you get good at it, and then, you know, so suddenly the average darts player looks a bit different to how they did 20 years ago, and that is the environment that Luke Littler has come from.
Right.
So that's why it's different, and that's why, I mean, the prize money now, £3.14 million he's earned just from prize money in 2 years. That's not including endorsements for darts and flights and merchandise and what have you. Yeah. So he's going great guns, but I think there'll be challenges to his dominance, and that's why he's got to enjoy it while he can, because it's you know. But as I say, you need your stars.
Oh, yeah, and that he is. He's a superstar.
Yes.
Should we touch on football?
Yes, talking about stars again, because it was mooted over the weekend that Arsenal are going to bring Vinicius Junior from Real Madrid. He's got a year left on his contract. If I was his agent, I'd be saying to him, just hang on for another year, and this 30 million euros you're getting right now, you could probably double that somewhere, because if not, the clubs aren't paying a transfer fee, they'll say, well, actually, we've got a bit more in the pot to pay you in terms of wages. It's nice work if you can get it. It makes Luke Littler's earnings look like chicken feed, doesn't it?
It does.
But nonetheless,
Arsenal in the Premier League, though?
Well, this is the thing. I think there's a vacuum for real stars. Mo Salah's left Liverpool, as we know. Erling Haaland's still at Manchester City, but Harry Kane now playing in Germany, the England captain. I don't think that looks good. Jude Bellingham has never played in the Premier League. He plays in Spain. Maybe it's a tax issue. I'm not really sure. But some players have complained about that in the recent past.
Beckham's law in Spain, haven't you?
Sorry,
you've got Beckham's law in Spain, haven't you?
What? Go on. What's Beckham's law?
You get like to bring Beckham over to Spain. They create special tax incentives for expats.
I remember interviewing Fernando Torres in South Africa in 2009. He moaned about the tax rate here, and he said you're going to see fewer players playing here, and he actually turned out to be right. Don't get me wrong. The cachet of the Premier League, the wealth of the Premier League is still way out in front in the European terms and in global terms as well. But bringing Vinicius Junior to Arsenal on 400 grand a week, if they can stretch to that, and I think they can. That's according to the Telegraph overnight. Then I think there's a gap on their left-hand side of their team anyway. And I just think a little bit of stardust in the Premier League doesn't do the brand any harm, does it?
Totally agree with you, mate.
Aidan, thank you. We'll see you again in the next hour. Thank you.
Right, well, what do you make of this? Meghan Markle, she's been on MasterChef, and you love cooking, don't you?
I do love cooking.
Some sprinkling tips?
I didn't love this, but I do love cooking. What about you? Have you seen it?
Oh, I've seen some clips of it. Oh, here we go. Here's one. It's a good one here. The Duchess of Sussex. I mean, excuse me.
Yeah, they lost their minds over it, didn't they?
Insufferable. It's also insufferable.
Well, Prince Harry also made an appearance.
Yeah, that's right. More in the papers, of course. We've done that. Oh, yeah.
Here we go.
Talking of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, we've got our very own Chris Akabusi and Dawn Neeson. I wonder which one's Harry and which one's Meghan.
You two can work that out between yourselves. Talk to you in just a second. For now, here's your forecast across Europe.
Ready to soak up that holiday sunshine?
Won't we need some cover?
No worries. All sorted.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
Hello there. Another heat wave is set to impact much of Europe, bringing intense sunshine. There's very little sign of any rain. Across parts of Iberia, temperatures could push back up into the high 30s, if not the low 40s degrees Celsius. The heat may be enough to produce some very hit or miss showers across parts of Italy, but not really any significant rainfall and not really sign of much rainfall to come. The sunshine is set to continue alongside the high temperatures.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
GB News Breakfast. Every day from 6 a.m.
What do you think about where we're going to get our future athletes and our Olympians from when we're telling our children, oh, you can't go out and partake in sports today because it's a bit hot?
It really worries me. We have a generation that spend their life being very inactive, an awful lot of time on mobile telephones, coming up with every excuse as to not to move and not to be moving. Sport in schools is where we can catch every kid. And the kids that will lose out are the kids that come from areas of deprivation, because the parents that can afford to make sure their children do sport will still do that, but the parents that can't afford, sadly, will miss out. So it's really important that our kids, do enough physical activity, lay down these habits, understand about how their body works and nutrition and food and looking after themselves and health. We have a health crisis. It's really important we start early.
The People's Channel. This is GB News, Britain's news channel.
GB News entertainment editor Alex Davies joins us now. What a woman, what a voice, what an incredible life. What more can you tell us?
Yeah, like you said, she's a singer whose songs have transcended generations, really. Everybody knows Total Eclipse of the Heart. Everybody knows Holding Out for a Hero. She's been awarded an MBE. She represented the UK at Eurovision. And it's just very sad. Tributes have already started to pour in from across the showbiz world and just fans in general, This is somebody who's, like I said, transcended generations with her music and will continue to do so posthumously.
Well,
thanks so much. I met her just once in a green room. She was an absolute delight. And even speaking, she had that great rasping voice.
Oh, what an incredible voice.
Incredible voice.
GB News, the People's Channel. Britain's newsroom. Weekday mornings from 9:30.
So you go along to the car showroom and only like 10%, at most maybe 15%, pay cash. The rest buy it on some form of financing. And you often buy, it's a bit like a mortgage, and it's like buying a mortgage from the estate agent, which we all know is a terribly bad idea. But this is what people did. And the deal is, the scandal is, the guys in the showroom were acting as dealers and brokers, and they were in many cases inflating the interest rate that you paid so that they could get bigger commission. And they didn't declare that. So you basically ended up paying more for your car than you would otherwise have done if you'd gone into the open market and found yourself, a better deal.
How did that come to light?
Well, over many years. I mean, this has been going on since 2007.
GB News, the People's Channel.
Welcome back to Breakfast at 6:45. Should we take a look at some of the newspaper front pages on this Monday morning?
We should. Let's have a quick look at the Telegraph, shall we? The Prime Minister plans to crack down on youth benefits, apparently.
The Times claims that teen anxiety pays more than a job. Young people who take up part-time work on minimum wage earn £100 less than those claiming sickness benefits.
In The Sun this morning, lights, camera, act Ron. Ronaldo, Cristiano, will play himself in a new TV drama.
And lastly, The Guardian reports this morning, Miliband vows to give UK global leadership on the climate crisis.
All right, well, joining us to talk about all of the fantastic stories this morning are Olympian Chris Akabusi and GB News presenter Dawn Neeson. Good morning, you two.
Morning.
I say fantastic news, but, I mean, actually, we should probably start with what happened on Saturday at the Berlin Pride, what seems to be an Islamist attack.
Stop saying that, because it is an Islamist attack.
You're right.
I mean, it seems to be, and everyone goes, oh, we've got to tiptoe around it, we don't know the full... We do know the full facts. I mean, this chap tried to join ISIS. I think it's fairly safe to say that he was an Islamist and he wanted death on the West, so I think we're OK to say that. And the fact that this story isn't on any of the British page ones, I find really strange. It's inside some of them, but it's very strange that it's not on the page one. Because, I mean, this happened in Germany, it happened in Berlin. OK, I get that, but this could happen here.
Yeah, this is the West.
It really could. I mean, this wasn't a pride event. This wasn't because it was Germany. This is because there are a group of people out there who simply hate us and hate the West. And they want to hurt us. And we are letting them hurt us. I mean, this bloke just didn't slip through a net, did he? The door was open for him. I mean, they let him roam the streets. He would come out of youth custody, 21 years old. He'd tried to join ISIS, for God's sakes. And he was allowed to hire a van in his own name, despite posting threats online, posing with guns. He was allowed to do this. And now we have people throwing up their hands in horror and saying, oh, we've got to be careful how we talk about this. We can't be seen to be Islamophobic. And we've had commentators in this country saying this is the fault of right-wing rhetoric, their version of right-wing rhetoric, whatever that actually is. And no, it's not. This is the fault of radical Islam who want to kill us.
I was really last night, for anyone who's watching this morning, if you're a bit like me, an insomniac, and you stayed up, absolutely furious to see some of the even politicians pointing the finger at political parties. GB News included in that as well. In some cases, absolutely despicable to point the finger at anything other than Islamist extremism, which I think we do not. Many people just don't want to have a conversation about that, Dawn, and that bothers me.
Yeah, and all the time, Alex, we are looking elsewhere and trying to be... We are all this, kind, inclusive, and we all love diversity. Yes, of course, we do. But, all the time we are saying, oh, it's the right-wing rhetoric that are causing this. We're ignoring the actual problem. And the actual problem is what's caused the death of that young woman in Germany. We're ignoring that. And the Germans are in the same situation. And like you over the weekend, I interviewed several very respected German journalists on this situation. And they were saying the same thing, that the German government and various people over there, including the people, all the Pride event organisers, were saying, oh, we need more love, we need more Pride events to get over this. This isn't about having more Pride events.
No, it's not, unfortunately. It's not
Dawn,
the solution.
So many viewers getting in touch just saying, well said, Dawn. Thank you for calling it out.
I mean,
exactly what it is.
It's really... All the time we tiptoe this, we are going to get this in our country.
Well, we hope not. But Chris, what's your reaction to what you've seen over the weekend?
Well, it's a guy called Abdul Ballout. He's a madman. He's dead. 21-year-old German citizen of Lebanese descent. And... it was obviously deranged. I take on board a lot of what Dawn has said. But I want to point out this guy, while he was known to the German authorities and slipped through the net, and as Dawn said, he travelled to Lebanon via Turkey to try to get involved with ISIS. He was obviously a madman. I don't want to actually lambast the religion with this one guy, although I take on board.
But this is the other thing, Chris, and I completely agree with you, right? This is not about Muslims. This is about radical Islam, and there is a difference, and we do need to make that difference very, very clear, because ordinary Muslims are suffering just as much as we are when these things happen. Because now an ordinary Muslim will walk down the street and people point and think, right, OK, you're involved in this, and they are not. There is a huge difference between the faith of being a Muslim and radical Islam. A huge difference.
Well, look, the good news of all of this is that this coward is dead. This man, from what reports, the German press reporting over the weekend, that he was found hiding in a garden shed somewhere.
Yeah, but so is a young woman. That's
no, I know. We can't change that. And you're absolutely, we can't change that. But at least they found him and they got him, because the worry was with a 20-hour manhunt that he had escaped. And I'm glad that
there'd be more attacks.
Yeah,
that's the fear.
And that he won't be put in some cushy prison somewhere and have an easy life. And actually taking these people out is the best thing you can do.
Wow.
But on that note, let's just move on very, very quickly. Fire hit France. Any plans to go to Bordeaux this summer, Chris?
Well, I mean, again, the fires, Spain, France, and one day could it happen in the UK? Climate change is a reality. Australia and Los Angeles have dealt with them admirably over the last decade or so, but now we're seeing them coming close to our shores.
Dawn, what's your reaction to the pictures we've seen? They've made many of the front pages today, haven't they?
Ironically, they have. And these fires have been going on for a while now, and it is awful. And sort of like, you know, it's... I mean, yeah, the climate is changing, temperatures are getting warmer, but what's causing these wildfires is many people is human idiocy. It's people being careless. It's people deliberately starting fires in some cases. We've had that fire in the Cairngorms going on for 10 days, and that was probably arson as well.
When you say deliberate...
sorry, Chris, we've got to leave it there, but we will talk more about this throughout the show with loads of other stories in the next hour.
Yeah, thank you very much, you two. Now, just time to tell you about the Great British Giveaway now. Your chance to win big in our Golden Summer celebration. £60,000 in tax-free cash and a real gold bar worth over £5,000. Here are all the details you need.
We're celebrating a golden summer with a terrific two-part Great British Giveaway. First, you could win a sensational £60,000 in tax-free cash to spend however you like this year. What would you do with that? And that's not all, as you'll also win our most precious prize to date, a fine gold bar worth over £5,000. It's pure gold to own, trade or gift to a loved one and secure their financial future. So make sure you don't miss your chance to bank over £65,000 worth of prizes in our Golden Summer celebration. For a chance to win £60,000 in tax-free cash and a real gold bar, text GOLD to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message, or text BONUS to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entry starts at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge, or post your name and number to GB22 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrants must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 21st of August. This is a network giveaway. Entries will be pooled. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
Today's outlook: cool, calm and completely horizontal. Boxed Aircon sponsors the weather on GB News.
Hello there, good morning. Welcome to your GB News weather update from the Met Office. Fewer showers around compared to what we had yesterday. Still very dry across much of England and Wales. Not only that, but we're also going to see temperatures climb through the early part of this week. For now, though, mostly dry for many areas. Some sunshine across much of the east, clouding over from the west through the course of the morning. Just a few showers filtering through, but actually most of these easing away by the afternoon. So mostly dry day ahead for many areas. Some fairly decent sunny spells across much of England and Wales, certainly towards the south. This is where we'll see the best of the temperatures, highs of around 26 degrees Celsius, but even further north, highs widely in the low 20s, so still feeling warm in the brightness. Then to finish off the day, across many eastern areas of Scotland, it should be mostly dry, but there will still be some showers pushing in from the west, filtering through at times. Similar across Northern Ireland, some showers before some longer spells of rain just start to edge their way in further west. Some drizzly showers perhaps across northwest England and parts of Wales, but still very dry for many areas. Through the overnight period, we'll start to see a bit of a north-south split in our weather, turning very unsettled towards the northwest with some spells of rain pushing their way northeastwards. This will start to turn quite heavy for some areas during the early parts of the morning. Once again, a mix of cloud, and it's likely the clearest skies will be across the far southeast. But for most, it's a slightly warmer night to come, especially across southern areas of England and Wales. Now on Tuesday, quite a lot of rain around towards the north. This will gradually push its way northeastward, still with some heavy areas of rain at times, eventually clearing for much of Northern Ireland, northern parts of England and Scotland, so brighter here by the afternoon, bar a few showers. But towards the south of this, it's still another dry day with some sunny spells by the afternoon. Temperatures higher compared to what we'll have today as well, pushing into the high 20s, if not the low 20s, across the north.
Today's outlook: cool, calm and completely horizontal. Boxed Aircon sponsors the weather on GB News.
Thank you, Britain, for making GB News Radio such a huge success. Whether you're in the car, on the go or listening at home, thank you for choosing us as your radio station.
This is the latest AI travel news from gbnews.com. In Kent, drivers on the M20 eastbound at Junction 7 will encounter roadworks with one lane closed. Northamptonshire's M1 southbound at Junction 18 is also undergoing improvements, causing a lane restriction. West Yorkshire's A1M is restricted due to roadworks between junctions 43 and 44 northbound. On Birmingham's M6, road upgrades cause lane closures between junctions 5 and 4A. Meanwhile, Buckinghamshire's M40 southbound between junction 5 and 4 is affected by maintenance. Cheshire's M56 eastbound and Coventry's M45 eastbound near Rugby Face Lane closures. For more travel news, go to gbnews.com.
We're celebrating a golden summer with a terrific two-part Great British giveaway. First, you could win a sensational £60,000 in tax-free cash. And that's not all, as you'll also win our most precious prize to date, a fine gold bar worth over £5,000. For a chance to win, text GOLD to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message. Or text BONUS to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entry start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB22 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 21st of August. This is a network giveaway. Entries will be pooled. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
You want to know what's really going on in the corridors of power? Labour don't know what to do with you half the time, and that makes you quite lethal in the chamber. Get behind the headlines with Chopper's Political Podcast. Join me, Christopher Hope, as I sit down with the great and the good of British politics. We'll see where this ruling takes us. These are the stories shaping our nation. Chopper's Political Podcast, available now on all platforms. Listen in and stay ahead.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world.
Am I allowed to talk now?
No, that's it. This is where it matters, real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
The fact has Trump made a good start? No.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints.
How many fingers have I got up? About 10.
So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m. only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Good morning. Andy Burnham is plotting a major crackdown on youth sickness benefits. Young claimants could lose their payments unless they agree to training or voluntary work.
Well, more than 430,000 young people now claim sickness benefits as the Prime Minister scrambles to cut Britain's staggering £333 billion welfare bill. Can you believe that, Ellie?
It's hard to believe.
Yeah, well, apparently he wants to do it to fund defence and social care.
But could the plans trigger another Labour civil war? And should young people with anxiety and autism be forced to work for their benefits?
And in other news, German police have shot dead the man suspected of driving a van into a crowd near Berlin's Pride Festival, killing one woman and injuring at least 29 people.
British tourists are being urged to flee southwestern France as apocalyptic wildfires closing in Bordeaux. More than 250,000 people have been evacuated, with flames now at the city's gates. We're going to bring you the very latest.
Yes, and talking of apocalypse, Prince Harry is set to return to Britain within weeks, and the King will once again offer him a room at Buckingham Palace. Is it a sign the royal family rift has finally healed?
Good morning. With Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury winning their tune-up fights over the weekend, what does it mean for when the pair of them meet later this year in that UK super fight? And find out why Cristiano Ronaldo has been linked to Barnet. That's later this hour.
Hello there. A few showers around this morning, otherwise still very dry across many areas. Not only this, but we've got some summer heat returning. Stay tuned and I'll have all the details.
Good morning. It's just gone 7 o'clock. I'm Ellie Costello.
And I'm Alex Armstrong, and this is GB News Breakfast, where we might be able to talk.
I hope we can string a sentence together.
There we go. What do you make of this eclipse that's on its way?
Yes, so Britain's most complete solar eclipse in 27 years. So we've got some advice on how we should watch it. You heard this one, Christo?
No,
You'll enjoy it.
This one. Okay.
Get yourself a colander. Whack it on your head.
As in for my pasta.
As in the kitchen utensil. Whack it on your head.
Right.
And watch the eclipse through said colander.
Why?
Why?
I remember I was a little child.
August 99.
Yes, I remember it. I remember being in my room, and my mum terrified me.
Why did you go in the garden?
She terrified me. She was saying you can go blind by looking, which is true. It can blind you. It can really damage your eyes.
You do have to be careful.
I didn't really see much.
So I was terrified of the eclipse actually, and it was really cool. And I think back on it, I can't wait. I really want to go to space actually to see it in its full, because we're not going to have the total eclipse, but it will get dark.
But sorry, no one's answered. Why do I need to put a colander on my head? Or are you winding me up and you just want to see me with a colander on my head?
It's something to do, I don't know the technical reason why, but it's something to do with the intensity of the rays of the sun that can cause blindness.
Yes, this is Professor Lucy Green, who's a professor of physics at University College London, so she knows what's going on here. She says if you don't get the special viewing glasses, which you can buy, by the way, for about £3, so everyone should go for those. But if you don't have one of those, the simplest method is to create a pinhole viewer. So it's like a cereal box, you just put holes through it. Or a colander, which already has the holes through it.
OK.
So it's safer to view through something like a colander than the naked eye.
There aren't too many holes in the colander?
I don't remember anyone wearing a colander last time in August 99, can you?
No.
Imagine people just sitting in the garden with a colander on their head.
But I think we should make it a national thing. I think we should all not buy these £3 glasses. It's cost of living crisis, everybody. Right?
Yeah.
We've
all got a colander.
Let's not give the money, the income tax, the VAT to the government. Let's just all put a colander over our head. We've all got one of those.
We'll end up with a colander tax.
That's
the next thing.
That'll be the next thing, yeah.
Why not?
I definitely want to see it. Apparently, the next one is 2081.
Yeah.
Do you want to see it now?
Oh, yeah, well...
What are you saying?
It'll still be around then.
Well, I hope we're still very much alive and kicking, but you never know.
You two will still be doing
Not every day is
breakfast.
granted.
Yeah. I don't know if I'll be able to speak better than I can today, actually.
It's
when
a
I'm
Monday,
90,
we can
90
forgive
something years old.
ourselves.
That's right, we'll forgive ourselves.
You were also working till 11 p.m. last
Yeah,
night. Let's
yes,
just not forget that.
Yeah, we'll get there. Buckingham Palace.
Buckingham
Palace.
Anyway, let us know. Would you be caught with a colander on your head?
Yeah, why not? Why not? Maybe we'll do it here in the studio.
Maybe we will.
Oh,
I did look
You'd look good with one of those in there, wouldn't you? It'd be like a little hat.
I did consider bringing one in this morning for a demonstration, but I decided against that one. But anyway, that's what we think.
Yeah, we can always arrange for tomorrow. It's all right.
Oh.
Well, apparently, Andy Burnham's also planning a crackdown on youth sickness benefits in an effort to reallocate billions of pounds in funding for social care and defence.
Yes, young people will face being stripped of their benefits unless they agree to do some form of training or volunteer work under the proposed measures.
Well, this proposal comes as part of an effort to reduce the country's staggering £333 billion welfare bill.
Which is growing all the time.
It is. It's getting bigger and bigger. And ministers are hoping that training and voluntary work is going to bring sick young people back into the workforce, apparently.
Oh, well, let's speak to journalist and broadcaster Christo Fufas, who joins us in the studio this morning. Morning.
Yeah, but there's a connection here, I think, between these reported mental health conditions and wearing a colander on your head.
Well,
I would like
maybe.
to point this out, by the way. If you go to your assessment wearing a colander on your head for one of these mental health assessments, you might actually end up on these benefits, which he wants to cut. So at the moment, we have an eye-watering £333 billion welfare bill, as you mentioned, looking like it's going to rise to £400 billion. And obviously, we also have the military, social care, that Andy Burnham wants to spend another £18 billion on. I mean, these are almost numbers like telephone numbers, aren't they? There are these billions being thrown around. So what Andy Burnham is talking about, which on paper, credit to him, is something that we do need to address, is trying to get a lot of these younger people who are out of work or suffering from these mental health conditions like anxiety, autism and ADHD, trying to get them back into work. These 16 to 24-year-olds, of which there are more than 430,000 who are specifically claiming sickness benefits. Now, I believe that there are some people who are absolutely, genuine, who are paralysed by anxiety and all of these sorts of things. But I think that is a very, very small proportion. I think a lot of these people who have these sorts of conditions, there is nothing that is going to make you feel better if you've got anxiety than actually having a shower, getting out the house and having some sort of purpose.
Well, that was the basic rules of Jordan Peterson, wasn't he? That young men who are struggling to do things, just do the basics. And then get up, make your bed, have a shower, do something productive, and all of a sudden you'll find the energy comes back to you.
Absolutely. I don't think anyone who's got a mental health condition who manages to do something feels worse for doing it. And, of course, this comes after Andy Burnham has previously criticised the Blair-era government to get half of school leavers into university. He wants them to be in jobs like bricklaying, learning trades, all of these sorts of things. Again, on paper, a very good thing. Funny, though, that this is the version of Andy Burnham seemingly criticising the Blair-era years when, of course, Mr Burnham was a part of the Blair and Brown years. So funny how he seems to be criticising a lot of things that he was once a part of. But 700,000 more people are out of work because of long-term ill health than there were 6 years ago. Big part of that, of course, was COVID. Again, a lot of the measures that has put people in this position, Labour voted in favour of back at the time. So I don't think this is reinventing the wheel. This is trying to fix a lot of the problems that I have to say the Conservatives absolutely were responsible for, but Labour were cheering them on at the time. It's whether the backbench and the backbenchers will allow him to get this through.
Well, this is it, isn't it? New Prime Minister, same backbenchers. Is he going to stand up to them?
Absolutely, and again, this is really good red meat for those people who are perhaps on the right of politics saying, look, this benefits bill is absolutely astronomical. Everyone agrees that it's astronomical, seemingly, other than those people on the Labour backbenches. And the last time they tried to be any kind of benefit reform, of course, they rebelled. They smelled blood. And of course, after that, it meant that Keir Starmer, Rachel Reeves, they really could get so few things through. In fact, they actually ended up U-turning on the two-child benefit cap, which increased the benefits bill. So, again, is this all lip service? Andy Burnham is known very much for being style over substance, doing all of these great speeches, coming up with all of these great plans, and them all amounting to not very much. So it would be very interesting to see whether this is more of this, or whether, again, this is some political posturing. So he says, well, look, I wanted to do something about this, but look, my backbenchers wouldn't let me. So, you know, it's their fault, not mine.
Interesting stuff. Just a view here on Your Say from Johnny. Alex and Ellie, when I was 16, I was homeless. Me and my wife, who have now been together for 38 years, and we went into a hostel. And back then, Margaret Thatcher was the Prime Minister. And if I didn't go on a youth training scheme, I think that's what a YTS is, doing 40 hours a week for £29.50, they would not pay my hostel fees. It's interesting, isn't it?
The YTS was a massive scheme under the Conservative government where a lot of younger people went in. But it wasn't just sort of the trades, it was like floristry. I remember my mum had a florist shop and she used to have YTS girls all the time that came in learning floristry. And the government used to subsidise them coming in and learning those sorts of trades. This is the step in the direction for what we need for younger people in this country. It's just whether this actually comes to fruition.
But they're not I mean, we'll have to leave it there, Krista, but they're not proposing a youth training scheme, are they? They're just
now, that would be a good idea.
They're just saying, you've all got to get back to work. And the problem is, youth unemployment is skyrocketing.
And also, there wasn't, at the time of YTS, the mass immigration that we have now. There are a lot of unskilled workers that also came in and replaced a lot of those jobs. So these are very different times, but if this comes off, it is a step in the right direction.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Christo, thank you. We've got you again next hour, haven't we?
Yes.
Bumper special.
Triple special.
Love it. What a way to start the week.
Thank you.
Thanks, Christo.
Well, moving on, the man suspected of driving a van into a crowd at Pride in Berlin has been shot and killed after officials suggested it was an Islamist terror attack.
Yes, Abdul B was a German citizen with Lebanese heritage and was previously arrested in Lebanon for trying to join ISIS and planning a terrorist attack.
Yeah, one person was sadly killed and 29 were injured, or some of them with very serious injuries, when that van was driven at high speeds into revellers. Well, the suspect emerged from the car and began attacking people with what's been described as probably a machete.
Absolutely horrific, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, let's speak now to Chris Phillips, former head of the National Counter-Terrorism Security Office, who joins us now. Very good morning to you, Chris. First of all, what's your reaction to what we saw at the weekend? Absolutely horrific scenes.
Yes, but it's straight out of the low-fidelity playbook for anyone that wants to be a terrorist with no real skills, isn't it? It's someone that clearly was a danger. I mean, the questions must be asked of the German criminal justice system that brought him back to the country and then released him back onto the streets. This was clearly a very dangerous young man. It appears at the moment that he was acting on his own, which is effectively a good thing in as much as he was less effective than he would have been otherwise. So good work by the police to catch him and take him out as quickly as they did.
The thing is, Chris, the criticism now is that Western countries, including ours, Germany, France, where we see these sorts of attacks, unfortunately Germany seems to have them far more often and regularly than we do. I was giving an account of how many there have been last night on my show, but it seems to me that the situation is so prolific that actually we are far behind. The MI5 watch list for Islamist extremism, I think, tops something like 48,000 in this country. Are we just, at this point, a ticking time bomb?
Well, we have been for some time, to be quite fair. The key point is 45,000 in the UK, 7,000 people referred to prevent every year. These numbers are just increasing, and of course, there are nowhere near enough police officers, security services to deal with all of them, and all the services that have been tasked with dealing with these people, from the social services, etc., otherwise, have been cut back. The police have been cut back. We're kind of just you're right. We're sitting on the word time bomb is a good word for it. Actually, we're sitting on a big problem, but this is a problem right across the West. France, Germany, Belgium is a particular problem. Even Ireland now has the similar sort of problems, and it's something that as the West we've got to deal with.
But how do we deal with it, Chris, when we see individuals like this, and as you, in your first answer, you referenced low skill. All a person requires is a certain mindset and a vehicle that they then use as a weapon. How do we stop that?
Well, there's lots of ways that we can stop vehicles from attacking people, but you can't stop them from attacking all people everywhere, and that's the key point. Almost impossible once they get the desire and the effort to do that to prevent them from causing damage to someone. I mean, individually we can help ourselves by being aware of what's going on around us to protect ourselves, but it is almost impossible to stop someone getting a van or a vehicle, and it's pretty much impossible stopping them getting a knife. So it is difficult at that stage. We've got to deal with it at source, I'm afraid.
Chris, how do we combat this in a digital age as well? We've seen terrorism, of course, in the West for a long time. It's nothing new to us. We can go back to the IRA in more recent memory as well in Britain. How do we tackle this in a digital age? Because a lot of radicalisation is happening online. You don't even need to be sent to some training camp abroad now. You can just be radicalised online on the internet.
And this kind of links into your previous story as well. People with mental illness sitting in their bedrooms, looking at the internet. It's a very, very difficult thing to do. Of course, the cyber companies, the social media companies can do some work on this. Police do a lot of work, and the security services pick up certain words and things that go together to let them know whether someone's a risk. But we've got an awful lot of people who are a risk. And this is a dangerous game, because the police and security services every week have to look at the remit and the worrying, how worrying individuals are, and which one at any given stage is likely to go rogue. And that is, that's a very, very difficult game when you're talking 40-odd thousand people, as we said, and some of those, maybe 5,000-10,000 of those are really, really worrying, and those are just too many for the resources that we've got.
OK, Chris Phillips, really good to get your expertise this morning. Thank you very much.
Yeah, the messenger here on Your Say says, did I hear it right, 45,000 known terrorists in our country? I think those are the people on the watch list, or our equivalent of a watch list. It is worrying. It's really, really worrying. And I think often we get complacent and we stop talking about these things because it obviously doesn't happen every day. But we know just since 2022 that our security services have stopped at least 20 Iran-backed plots on British soil. So you can just imagine that, plus all the other levels of extremism, how much they're having to do at this point of time.
Well, it's incredible the work they do, but what's being done to combat the threat that we know is out there? We're speaking to the government just after 8 o'clock this morning, so we'll put that to them.
We certainly will. Should we have a look at some other stories coming into the newsroom in the meantime?
Yes, let's, because Andy Burnham will welcome Volodymyr Zelensky to Downing Street today, his first international visitor since becoming Prime Minister. Well, during the visit, he'll announce the UK is handing over the technology behind its new Stone Cloak electronic warfare system, allowing Ukraine to produce it at scale. Mr Burnham says Britain's support for Ukraine remains unwavering.
And the families of those killed in the RAF Chinook crash are calling on the Prime Minister Andy Burnham to order a fresh independent review into the 1994 disaster. They've asked to meet him within his first 100 days in office, saying they want the truth rather than years of further legal action. Well, 29 military personnel died when the helicopter crashed on the Mull in Scotland.
Motor finance customers who may be owed compensation are being reminded that they don't need to pay a claims company to make a complaint. The Financial Conduct Authority has launched a £2 million advertising campaign encouraging people to complain directly to their lender using a free template letter on its website. The regulator says many customers are unaware they can make a claim themselves at no cost.
And the UK's fourth heatwave of the year is on its way, with temperatures expected to reach up to 33 degrees in this week. A yellow heat health alert has been issued from Tuesday morning to Friday across the East and West Midlands, the south of England and indeed Yorkshire. Emergency services say they brace for further wildfires, and firefighters in England and Wales are currently battling 19 significant blazes.
Now, I have heard on good authority that I think there's going to be another heatwave this week.
Oh, where did you hear that?
On the grapevine.
Oh. Should we ask about the pollen count of this? Do you know what we need? We just need some rain. That's what we need.
We had a little bit yesterday.
No, it wasn't.
And I opened all the windows and I quite enjoyed it, actually.
That wasn't rain.
It was a little sprinkle, but it was very welcome.
I actually, do you know, I very rarely welcome rain, but I really do think we need it now. It's walking down the street, you see all the grass is all brown and it's all dusty. Just, I don't like that. I think we need a little bit. We're Britain, we're used to it.
Well, I don't think it's coming this week, sorry. Let's get a check on
Should we find out with honour, though, just to be sure?
Let's get a check.
Let's find out.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Box Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
Hello there, good morning. Welcome to your GB News weather update from the Met Office. Fewer showers around compared to what we had yesterday. Still very dry across much of England and Wales. Not only that, but we're also going to see temperatures climb through the early part of this week. For now, though, mostly dry for many areas. Some sunshine across much of the east, clouding over from the west through the course of the morning. Just a few showers filtering through, but actually most of these easing away by the afternoon. So mostly dry day ahead for many areas. Some fairly decent sunny spells across much of England and Wales, certainly towards the south. This is where we'll see the best of the temperatures, highs of around 26 degrees Celsius, but even further north, highs widely in the low 20s, so still feeling warm in the brightness. Then to finish off the day, across many eastern areas of Scotland, it should be mostly dry, but there will still be some showers pushing in from the west, filtering through at times. Similar across Northern Ireland, some showers before some longer spells of rain just start to edge their way in further west. Some drizzly showers perhaps across northwest England and parts of Wales, but still very dry for many areas. Through the overnight period, we'll start to see a bit of a north-south split in our weather, turning very unsettled towards the northwest with some spells of rain pushing their way northeastwards. This will start to turn quite heavy for some areas during the early parts of the morning. Once again, a mix of cloud, and it's likely the clearest skies will be across the far southeast. But for most, it's a slightly warmer night to come, especially across southern areas of England and Wales. Now on Tuesday, quite a lot of rain around towards the north. This will gradually push its way northeastward, still with some heavy areas of rain at times, eventually clearing for much of Northern Ireland, northern parts of England and Scotland, so brighter here by the afternoon, bar a few showers. But towards the south of this, it's still another dry day with some sunny spells by the afternoon. Temperatures higher compared to what we'll have today as well, pushing into the high 20s, if not the low 20s across the north.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Box Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
All right, still to come. What do you think about this? Did James Bond lose his licence to flirt?
What? It wouldn't be James Bond without that.
Well, former Bond girl says 007 should settle down with one woman and treat her as his equal to reflect the modern world.
Oh, right. OK. We're going to get into that shortly. But first, apocalyptic wildfires close in on Bordeaux as British tourists are urged to flee. We're going to bring you the very latest next.
At GB News, we love to hear from you, our loyal community. So drop us a line at gbnews.com/yoursay. There you can talk to each other and also to the presenters live on air. gbnews.com/yoursay, because GB News is your channel, Britain's news channel.
Bold. They are under no illusion. Ray. Are you a human trafficker? Boundless. I've had enough of the nonsense, and I'm not afraid to say it.
Don't get us on the BBC.
Every weeknight, I tear through the headlines.
The smell of gasoline. Should we be worried about it?
From Westminster madness to cultural war chaos.
What I'm going to do now is they are throwing things out the car as we speak.
Get ready, Britain. Here we go. Patrick Christie's tonight, weeknights from 9 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Britain deserves a newsroom that puts the facts and your voice first.
Well, and that's what you get on GB News. Lively debates, lively conversation.
And we're not afraid to hold power to account.
And each other. So join me, Andrew Pearce.
And me, Miriam Cates, for Britain's Newsroom, weekdays from 9:30 on GB News.
Do you trust what you're being told? Good, because because neither do I.
Those are just facts.
I'm Alex Armstrong, and on my show, we'll expose the spin.
Well, I want to answer that because you didn't let me last time, because you always speak over me.
The broken promises.
To deny that is denying the truth.
And the hypocrisy.
Allow.
Stop.
You think we can allow?
Politics, policy, parliament. Nothing is off limits. No sugarcoating, no fear of offence, just the truth laid bare. Tune in every Saturday and Sunday at 9 p.m. for Alex Armstrong Tonight, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Here at GB News, we made a promise to tell your stories.
And on the 6th of August, we're marking 5 years of doing exactly that.
Celebrate with us by having your say. Join in the debates live on TV and radio.
And meeting your favourite presenters across the country, from Leeds to Aberdeen, from Belfast to Barry Island.
Plus, join me in Essex for our biggest live show of the year. Scan the QR code or visit gbnews.com/celebrate. Terms and conditions apply.
Some people enjoy lazy Sunday mornings, but not me.
What's the truth of the matter?
So that's a very live question.
Would you support him if he waters down these plans?
Before the spin sets in, I'll be getting to the truth.
This is personal.
No soft questions, no easy answers.
It's one thing if the state has rules in this country. It's another thing whether the police and others actually police them.
Setting the agenda and holding those in power to account.
You can't really blame her if the system is set up this way.
You will not want to miss it, trust me. The Camilla Tominey Show, Sundays from 9:30, only on GB News.
Welcome back. Well, Gatwick Airport says it's starting to see its water supply return.
Thank goodness.
Yeah, I mean, can you believe that? That's bonkers, that was. It was after passengers were left with no working toilets or running water as the airport's been hit with a major outage.
Well, both terminals, can you believe, at the UK's second busiest airport lost running water after a power failure at a treatment works that serves the area.
Yes, and tourists are also being warned to stay away from southwest France, where flames are now just 9 miles away from the city of Bordeaux, and officials are considering a total evacuation of the city.
Well, let's speak now to our friend, travel correspondent at The Telegraph, Simon Caldo, joins us now in the studio. Good to see you, Simon. Should we start with these wildfires in France? Obviously, a very serious situation. These pictures are on the front page of most of the papers this morning. There are going to be people who've got holidays booked in southwest France. What should they do?
Well, it is absolutely terrifying. Clearly, this is a desperate situation for the communities there, and people putting their lives on their line to fight the fires and so on. So anybody who is there at the moment on holiday clearly should be getting out of the way. You don't want to add to the problem. But as you say, there are many people booked to travel to this beautiful area of France who are now thinking, what do I do? And yes, yesterday, Sophie Borca, who is the prefect of the region, said, please stay away. We don't need any more problems here, and therefore, just avoid us. However, it wasn't entirely clear where she was talking about. Clearly, as you've been reporting, we've got these terrible wildfires sweeping west of Bordeaux, some of them actually approaching the gates of Bordeaux. And that is an area that, of course, should be avoided. But actually, down further along the coast towards Biarritz, further north along the Atlantic coast, it's all at the moment relatively safe to go to. So simply a matter of looking at where you're going. If you believe there is a significant issue, then if you booked a package holiday, that will not be going ahead. If, for instance, you booked with a camping operator to go to somewhere on Cap Ferret where the fires have been ravaging the place, that won't go ahead. You get a full refund, or you can choose another holiday. Apart from that, British Airways is saying if you booked in or out of Bordeaux, you can change your flight to come home early or to postpone your trip. But otherwise, if you fixed up everything on your own, it's kind of a matter of talking to each of the people involved and hoping that you can get things moved. But there's no automatic entitlement, and your travel insurance won't necessarily be of any help.
Do you know what, Simon? I was saying this in the break, but since speaking to you when the Iran war was kicking off, I have now started only booking package holidays because that's the best way to stay protected. But of course,
it's good advice, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I think it's particularly the world it is a state, everything that you never know what's going to happen, do you? But let's also talk about Gatwick, big part of someone's journey, Simon. What on earth has gone on there?
Well, OK, yesterday morning, Bow Beach Water Treatment Works, which is just to the northeast of the airport, stopped pumping water, which is annoying for the many thousands of householders in the area. But if you've got 80,000 people flying out of Gatwick, so the population of a large town, all wanting, understandably, to get something to eat and to drink and to use the facilities, well, it was awful. All the big catering operations shut down because they couldn't deliver their service without water. There were very limited, some refreshments available. And we have to talk about the loos because that clearly was uppermost in many people's mind. Gatwick told me at no stage did we lose all the toilets. There were always some. And then we brought in some portaloos. So it wasn't ideal. And I've actually been hearing from one of your colleagues here at GB News. He was on a flight coming in from Malaga. And the pilot actually said, right, everybody, we're going to Gatwick. Use the loo on the plane because you're not going to have any luck when you touch down. In fact, by the time they arrived, they had sorted out the problem. By 8 o'clock yesterday, 70% of the loos were working. By 9 o'clock, it was 90%, and everything should be 100% from this morning if you are flying out.
Well, thank goodness for that. Simon, good to see you. Thank you very much.
Always a pleasure, Simon. Thanks for being here this morning. I mean, can't imagine that.
I couldn't believe the news yesterday when I heard that. Just unbelievable. Second busiest airport in this country, and effectively no water.
Yeah. Dreadful stuff.
Isn't it?
But then some good news. Aidan's got some sport for us to talk through.
Yes, indeed. I'll be telling you why Cristiano Ronaldo has been linked to Barnet, and it's not why you think. See you after the break.
Thank you, Britain, for the thousands of you who are becoming friends of GB News each and every week.
This is the latest AI travel news from gbnews.com. In Kent, drivers on the M20 eastbound at Junction 7 will encounter roadworks with one lane closed. Northamptonshire's M1 southbound at Junction 18 is also undergoing improvements, causing a lane restriction. West Yorkshire's A1M is restricted due to roadworks between junctions 43 and 44 northbound. On Birmingham's M6, road upgrades cause lane closures between junctions 5 and 4A. Meanwhile, Buckinghamshire's M40 southbound between junction 5 and 4 is affected by maintenance. Cheshire's M56 eastbound and Coventry's M45 eastbound near Rugby Face Lane closures. For more travel news, go to gbnews.com.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world.
Am I allowed to talk now?
No, that's it. This is where it matters, real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
The fact that Trump made a good start, no.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints.
How many fingers have I got up? About 10.
So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m, only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
From the school run to the home run, watch a new show for all of Britain.
He can say whatever he wants.
A straight talking show where all voices are heard.
And, you know, when are we going to stop talking about smashing the gangs and actually do it?
With the stories that matter from every part of our country.
There's a bit of a crash landing there for your Chancellor.
Bold, fearless and standing up for you. That's me, Martin Daubney, 3 p.m. till 6 p.m, weekdays, here only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Exciting news. Every Friday, my Patrick Christie's Tonight Show is going to have a twist to it. We're welcoming some special guests. You. That's right, on Fridays, I'm going to be doing my show in front of a live studio audience because this show is about you and what you have to say. It's going to be the same big debates, same big topics, same big opinions. But every Friday night at 9 p.m, you are invited to come on down to Patrick Christie's Tonight to be a part of the action. Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
You want to know what's really going on in the corridors of power? Labour don't know what to do with you half the time, and that makes you quite lethal in the chamber. Get behind the headlines with Chopper's Political Podcast. Join me, Christopher Hope, as I sit down with the great and the good of British politics. We'll see where this ruling takes us. These are the stories shaping our nation. Chopper's Political Podcast, available now on all platforms. Listen in and stay ahead.
Welcome Welcome back. It's sports time. Aidan McGee is here with us. Morning.
Thank you very much indeed. Let's start with Ronaldo, shall we? Because he's made the front page of The Sun today. The headline's Lights, Camera, Actron. Not really sure if that works, but I can't see what they've done. But yeah, look, he's to produce and star in a TV drama, and he's going to play himself, which is not a great surprise, is it? But it's going to be called Day Ones, and it centres around the life of an agent, a sports agent called Stanley Dalton, who's been played by Damian Lewis from Homeland and Billions, etc. And Ronaldo hasn't been seen.
Yeah.
Pardon?
He's brilliant.
Yes, he is, absolutely. So there's some big names, according to the source, the TV Insider. It's a prestige project and some serious names are backing it. We can certainly say that again. Thierry Henry has been seen at the Hive in Barnet up in northwest London, getting ready to do some filming. It doesn't say when roughly it will appear on television, but it's a sign that Ronaldo is thinking finally now that he might be hanging up his boots. I mean, he said the other day it will probably be his last World Cup, the one just gone.
Well, I'm not surprised seeing him during the World Cup. In fact, if anything, he held Portugal back to.
I completely agree with you, and I think they have to move on. And it's something he had to decide his exit himself, didn't he? Because no manager wanted to be the guy who took him out of the firing line. Yeah. So this programme, I don't know what it's going to be like, but we've seen in the last year or so, we've seen a couple of successful sports films. We saw Saipan about Roy Keane leaving the Ireland squad back in 2002, and we saw the one about Prince Nassim Hamed and the boxing and his relationship with his coach, and both did okay at the cinema. This is a TV series, so slightly different, but where it's going to appear, I don't know, possibly Netflix, something like that. But it's good to see a lower league club getting some money for the filming as well, because down that end of the pyramid, it really does need it.
Absolutely agree.
Absolutely.
And the Formula One.
Yeah, Lando Norris taking victory. He was on pole anyway, so no great surprise there. Lewis Hamilton had been given a three-place penalty on the grid, so he started in fifth, and again he finished in fifth, so no great surprise there. But Lando Norris once again setting the pace, and look, great to see Hamilton up there again. He's fifth overall in the table, but Lando Norris just not getting the credit for me that he deserves, having won the entire thing last year, having not had a great deal of pedigree before that in terms of winning it. I don't think he would have been the name on anyone's list prior to that to go and win it, and he wasn't really favoured with the bookies either. And I've seen him in a few adverts in the high street, that kind of stuff, so his profile is growing a little bit. But nonetheless, an excellent victory for him in Hungary yesterday. And let's see if he can go and retain his title. It's very hard winning the thing in the first place, Ellie, but it's hanging on to it as well, as Arsenal will discover this season when they're in the Premier League.
I just remember when Hamilton was winning his first few. Yeah.
I think it was 09,
Yeah, but it was all over the papers.
Yes, I know.
For Lando, we've had nothing.
I know. It seems strange. But look, it is a good story because, Lewis Hamilton hasn't won it since 2020, I don't think. And it was a year later he had the big spat with Max Verstappen on the final bend. So it's a great story if he goes to the prestige of Ferrari, dons the red. Didn't go well last season, of course, and then managed to re-energise himself at the age of 41. I had to get you to look up in the break, didn't I? 41. I was staggered to find how old he is. I mean, that's really top level age for peak performance. And let's hope he can go on and at least make things interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. Just finally, should we have a quick look at the boxing?
Yes, indeed. We saw two fights this weekend, didn't we? Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury. Fury on Friday at 4 o'clock in Thailand, in Pattaya, in front of 1,500 people. Both of them got through it, through their tests, through their tune-up fights, as we call them. But the only issue was that Anthony Joshua looked far, far less convincing in his than Tyson Fury did in his bout. And I just wonder, with everyone seeing Anthony Joshua in that state, and I know he got through it eventually in the second round, he did what he was meant to do in the first round, but having got through that, I wonder, because there's lots of speculation about where this super fight is going to take place. Now, seeing Joshua in that condition, way off his best, does that affect the cachet, the prestige of the fight? We really want to see these two guys, particularly Joshua, not at peak level. I'm not sure, because I mean that's all predicated on who wants to hold it, who's going to pay for the right to have it. With it being a UK super fight, we'd like to see it in the UK ideally, but it's mentioned that it might happen in Ireland, possibly in Wales, possibly in Thailand, New York City getting a shout as well, even though that would mean we'd have to watch it at 3 o'clock in the morning, so an early start for me on breakfast the following day. So we'll see how it pans out. But as I say, still, if it happens in November, December, Ellie, that's 4 or 5 months for AJ to get up somewhere closer to peak level, because I don't want him getting in there with Tyson Fury and getting flattened, because that's no contest for anybody. And everyone will be unhappy, the streamers, the fight fans, everyone who stayed up to watch it, the journalists will be bitterly disappointed if that happens. And it would be not a very fitting way to end Anthony Joshua's career, because he's had a magnificent time.
Yeah, they both need to be fighting fit, don't they?
They do.
Pardon the pun. Thanks, Aidan.
Thanks, Aidan. See you soon. And still to come here, Defence Minister Wes Streeting says he will resign if defence investment is not funded in full.
We're going to go through that in the papers with Chris Akabusi and Dawn Neeson. That's up next.
But first, here's your forecast for our top European destinations.
Ready to soak up that holiday sunshine?
Won't we need some cover?
No worries. All sorted.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
Hello there. Another heat wave is set to impact much of Europe, bringing intense sunshine. There's very little sign of any rain. Across parts of Iberia, temperatures could push back up into the high 30s, if not the low 40s degrees Celsius. The heat may be enough to produce some very hit or miss showers across parts of Italy, but not really any significant rainfall and not really sign of much rainfall to come. The sunshine is set to continue alongside the high temperatures.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
GB News Breakfast, every day from 6 a.m.
Should James Bond stay white and male?
Yes, I think that's probably the best course of action. If you think about it, Amazon have taken over Bond about a year ago, and they're a big company, aren't they? And this is a risk, isn't it? They don't want to be seen to cast their first James Bond in anything other than the most popular Bond to everybody. So if you're a casting director, like Debbie McWilliams has said, the previous one, I suppose it'd be who would be the most popular? What's the safest thing to do? So I think, you know, in other iterations, you know, there's nothing to say he couldn't be anything other than white, but this is the first one back, so I think it will be the safe thing to do. And it has to be a man. That's non-negotiable. I think audiences would instantly be complaining, and they want as little controversy going into this new film as they can.
The People's Channel. Martin Daubney, weekdays from 3 p.m.
With the football, a row has erupted. A racism row again, this time at a Kent secondary school after pupils' children were allegedly told to scrub painted England flags from their arms because, you've guessed it, they were deemed as racist. Is this the woke flag monitors simply spoiling everybody's fun?
Now, look, if we are going to police flags, that's clearly a problem. I think there are lots of people who feel negatively towards the England flag because of what it's represented in the past, and that's a real shame. But it's nice to see that new generations, you know, I'm the son of immigrants, and I don't feel that. I haven't inherited that, and that's really positive. Look, so we should be able to, especially during a football match, fly that flag with pride and enjoy it.
I know that part of the world a little bit. I travelled to Broadstairs, Thanet, Sandwich. You see the Union flag, and particularly the England flag, everywhere.
Yes.
Even under normal circumstances, you see the England flag being proudly flown. So this is completely insane.
The People's Channel. This is GB News, Britain's news channel.
There was a Ryanair flight from Thessaloniki in Greece, and a part of the plane hit the window and pulled it out. And so this man, a 61-year-old Serbian man, was sucked out of the window. And his wife, she says that she was desperately holding onto his legs to keep him inside the plane for 5 minutes. Wow. It was horrendous. Apparently the aircraft did eventually land normally and passengers were safe and a replacement airline was sent. He was taken to hospital with friction burns. It was a part of the propeller had come loose from the engine and it had hit the window, and that's what had taken the window out. So it wasn't as though it was thought to be loose in the first place. But can you imagine?
No.
I mean,
don't want to.
Unbelievable.
I'm
not a good flyer, I have to admit. This terrifies me.
GB News, the People's Channel.
So we talk about this eclipse that's coming, because, you know, I love space and I love all this sort of stuff, Ellie. But we were talking about colanders earlier, we're putting them on your head.
We were talking about colanders because people have been encouraged to use colanders in order to look at the eclipse, which is coming here in Britain for the first time in many, many years. But there are plenty of holes in this story, aren't there? So we've been doing some digging, and it turns out you shouldn't actually wear the colander on your head in order to look at the solar eclipse, but instead kind of put it in front of you, right?
Yeah.
And let the sun shine through onto a piece of paper, and there you can see...
Yeah, then you'll get the eclipse in like a pin dot on a piece of paper, which I think sounds rather dull. I would have thought we'd all have colanders on our head. I think that'd be more interesting.
Yeah, well, that's what the pictures suggest in the newspapers. But yeah, after a bit of digging, you actually just need to kind of shine it on a piece of paper.
Yeah.
There you go. Public health campaign there.
There we go. Courtesy of GB
mention.
News. All right. Anyway, let's go through some other stories, shall we?
Yes, the Telegraph reports this morning that the Prime Minister plans to crack down on youth benefits.
The Times claims teen anxiety pays more than a job. Young people who take up part-time work on minimum wage and £100 less than those claiming sickness benefits.
In The Sun this morning, lights, camera, action. Ronaldo is going to play himself in a new TV drama.
Yeah, I think that's a rubbish headline if you ask me. Okay. Lastly, The Guardian reports Miliband vows to give UK global leadership on climate crisis. He cannot let it go, can he? All right, let's speak to Olympian Chris Akabusi and GB News presenter Dawn Neeson. Good morning.
Morning. To...
Right, what's this?
Oh, Dawn, I've seen this outrage online. This is in the Telegraph this morning. Iran outpost in the UK. Tell us more.
Yeah, this is an Islamic centre in London, a charity, and it has powers to sponsor visas for skilled workers and religious ministers. And this is despite accusations that this particular Islamic centre stroke charity forms part of Iran's propaganda machine in the UK. And indeed, if you go onto the website, they offer Hezbollah-themed phone cases. So I think there's a fairly strong link to the Islamic State there as well. But yeah, the fact is, obviously, you know, charity workers and aid workers can come over and work for this charity, and also our clerics as well. Now, Iran obviously is a very dangerous country for at the moment. We don't know that these people are obviously safe. And we learned at the weekend that Iran accounts for more than 20 potentially lethal terror plots over the past 12 months. So they are a threat to this country. And the other story this weekend, obviously, was the human trafficking routes owned by the IRGC, the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps. So they are a threat to this country. So the fact that this charity, Islamic Centre, can bring over workers without any questions being asked is slightly concerning, I would say.
Yeah, I think we've covered some stories on my show about this place, and
Yes.
and there's obviously they strongly reject any claims that they do anything wrong or that they have anything linked to Hezbollah or anything else. They do claim that they're pretty kosher on this sort of stuff. A spokesman's added this: like many charities, faith organisations and other eligible institutions in the UK, the centre holds a Home Office sponsorship licence which allows it to sponsor skilled workers where it meets the requirements of the UK's migration system. We recognise that questions have been previously raised about the centre and its perceived relationship with the Iranian government. The centre has consistently maintained that it's an independent UK charity and carries out activities in accordance with UK law and its charitable objectives. Yeah, so they strongly reject a lot of the claims, but of course, I think what this does, Chris, is concerns at the moment, given that the IRGC have recently claimed, at least in an article to the Telegraph a few days ago on the weekend, that they are bringing people over here on small boats as well. So there's a feeling at this moment in time, particularly as there was threats also aimed at a UK airbase after Burnham gave powers to Trump to launch American planes from there, that the threat of Iran is very much increasing here in the UK.
Yeah, I mean, look, in terms of the story, you know, I would like to think that MI5, MI6 and the Secret Service are all over it. And I think the United Kingdom have had a very good track record on dealing with issues way before they become to our ken and our knowledge. So I'd like to think that we are as safe as we can be with our Secret Service doing their job. But of course, it is an obvious concern. America is at war with Iran, and we are going to defend our bases in Cyprus quite clearly. That's our role. We've got to do that. And, you know, we've seen Iran take shots at countries in the peninsula there who are defending themselves. So, you know, I can understand the worry, but I like to think that our Secret Service are ahead of the game.
Indeed.
Chris, let's stay with you, shall we? Look at The Times, page 2. I'll quit if defence plan is not fully funded. bows Wes Streeting.
Yeah, I like this story because you very rarely get a politician that is so forthright in what he or she is going to do if this does or does not happen. And it just so happens that the previous Defence Minister is the Chancellor of the Exchequer, and Mr Burnham was very, very clever in making sure, well, OK, you was a guy who wanted this, now you're going to be responsible for delivering this, and I suspect that the menage a trois there know exactly what's happening. You call me a cynic. Now, the defence spend of 3% is not due to be fulfilled by 2030, and this government will need to go back to the public fund mandate by 2029. So, again, he's on safe grounds there. You can be building towards something, playing towards something, or not necessarily deliver on the 3% by 2029. And 2035, you may not be in government anyway. It could be a Parliament, it could be a blue Parliament who have got to deliver on a 3.5% by 2035. So he's very, very confident in the statement he's made because he's on very safe ground.
Yes, indeed. What do you make of this? Is he on safe ground, though? Because this is Wes Streeting, after all. You know, this is a man who basically was the bloke to pull the starting gun on sacking Starmer.
Well, he was, yeah. I mean, I agree with Chris to a certain extent. I mean, the fact is that he is on safe ground. But it was interesting over the weekend that our new Prime Minister, checking watch, still the Prime Minister, our new Prime Minister did say that there was no guarantee that we would hit the 3% at any given time in the future. Dates weren't specific, which is interesting given that we also have Ed Miliband trying to do a deal with America and reignite the special relationship, and the fact that we are not spending what we should be spending on defence is not going to go down well, is it?
But that's a great thing when you've got... Sorry.
All I was going to say there was John Healey being made Chancellor. Andy Burnham said at the time that was a sign of intent on defence spending. But then literally the next weekend, after his first week in office, saying there's no guarantee we're going to hit 3%, or not setting out a timeline at least.
Yeah. Well, Healey, again, when Healey was Defence Secretary, he could take Welcher Reeves and throw some brickbats because he wasn't the other side of the fence, when all of a sudden he looked inside there and, oh, hang on, there's no money in the coffers. We've got to look after NHS, we've got to look after welfare, we've got to look after, cost of living. Oh, I see. Now I understand what she was moaning about.
Exactly.
And there has been a school of thought that perhaps John Healey's the fall guy, and he's been put in that position now, so that he bears the brunt of it. Let us know what you think on that one.
Well, we'll stay with that, and we'll see you guys in the next hour as well. We can talk a little bit more about that. We've also got some interesting clips of the Duchess of Sussex to play for.
That we do. But for now, just time to tell you about the Great British Giveaway, your chance to win big, £60,000 in tax-free cash and a real gold bar. Here are all of the details that you need.
We're celebrating a golden summer with a terrific two-part Great British Giveaway. First, you could win a sensational £60,000 in tax-free cash to spend however you like this year. What would you do with that? And that's not all, as you'll also win our most precious prize to date, a fine gold bar worth over £5,000. It's pure gold to own, trade or gift to a loved one and secure their financial future. So make sure you don't miss your chance to bank over £65,000 worth of prizes in our Golden Summer celebration. For a chance to win £60,000 in tax-free cash and a real gold bar, text GOLD to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message, or text BONUS to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge, or post your name and number to GB22 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrants must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 21st of August. This is a network giveaway. Entries will be pooled. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
Yes, good luck.
And it's still to come. We're going to speak to the government over plans to crack down on youth sickness benefits. We'll also talk to them about what happened in Berlin and the reaction to that online by some of their MPs. But first,
let's get a check on the weather with Honor.
Today's outlook: cool, calm and completely horizontal. Boxed Aircon sponsors the weather on GB News.
Hello there, good morning. Welcome to your GB News weather update from the Met Office. Fewer showers around compared to what we had yesterday. Still very dry across much of England and Wales. Not only that, but we're also going to see temperatures climb through the early part of this week. For now, though, mostly dry for many areas. Some sunshine across much of the east, clouding over from the west through the course of the morning. Just a few showers filtering through, but actually most of these easing away by the afternoon. So mostly dry day ahead for many areas. Some fairly decent sunny spells across much of England and Wales, certainly towards the south. This is where we'll see the best of the temperatures, highs of around 26 degrees Celsius, but even further north, highs widely in the low 20s, so still feeling warm in the brightness. Then to finish off the day, across many eastern areas of Scotland, it should be mostly dry, but there will still be some showers pushing in from the west, filtering through at times. Similar across Northern Ireland, some showers before some longer spells of rain just start to edge their way in further west. Some drizzly showers perhaps across northwest England and parts of Wales, but still very dry for many areas. Through the overnight period, we'll start to see a bit of a north-south split in our weather, turning very unsettled towards the northwest with some spells of rain pushing their way northeastwards. This will start to turn quite heavy for some areas during the early parts of the morning. Once again, a mix of cloud, and it's likely the clearest skies will be across the far southeast, but for most it's a slightly warmer night to come, especially across southern areas of England and Wales. Now on Tuesday, quite a lot of rain around towards the north. This will gradually push its way northeastward, still with some heavy areas of rain at times, eventually clearing for much of Northern Ireland, northern parts of England and Scotland, so brighter here by the afternoon, bar a few showers. But towards the south of this, it's still another dry day with some sunny spells by the afternoon. Temperatures higher compared to what we'll have today as well, pushing into the high 20s, if not the low 20s across the north.
Today's outlook: cool, calm and completely horizontal. Boxed Aircon sponsors the weather on GB News.
Thank you, Britain, for making GB News Radio such a huge success. Whether you're in the car, on the go or listening at home, thank you for choosing us as your radio station.
This is the latest AI travel news from gbnews.com. In Kent, drivers on the M20 eastbound at Junction 7 will encounter roadworks with one lane closed. Northamptonshire's M1 southbound at Junction 18 is also undergoing improvements, causing a lane restriction. West Yorkshire's A1M is restricted due to roadworks between junctions 43 and 44 northbound. On Birmingham's M6, road upgrades cause lane closures between junctions 5 and 4A. Meanwhile, Buckinghamshire's M40 southbound between junction 5 and 4 is affected by maintenance. Cheshire's M56 eastbound and Coventry's M45 eastbound near Rugby Face Lane closures. For more travel news, go to gbnews.com.
It's a Great British Giveaway Golden Summer Celebration. Your chance to win 2 fantastic prizes. There's an incredible £60,000 in tax-free cash. Plus, you'll also get your hands on a fine gold bar worth over £5,000. For a chance to win £60,000 in tax-free cash and a real gold bar, text GOLD to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message. Or text BONUS to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB22 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 21st of August. This is a network giveaway. Entries will be pulled. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand.
Britain is not just a geographical expression. We are a people bound together by history and culture that are distinctively British. Join me to celebrate our music, theatre, artworks and literature, which we can explore and enjoy together.
Everybody's welcome.
Sunday with Michael Costello. Every Sunday at 11 a.m. on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Bold. They are under no illusion. Ray. Are you a human trafficker? Boundless. I've had enough of the nonsense, and I'm not afraid to say it.
Don't get us on the BBC.
Every weeknight, I tear through the headlines.
The smell of gasoline.
should we be worried about it? From Westminster madness to cultural war chaos. What we're going to do now, they are throwing things out the car as we speak. Get ready, Britain. Here we go. Patrick Christie's tonight, weeknights from 9 p.m. only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
I think GB News is completely unique in the way that we interact with our viewers.
Our audience aren't afraid to have their say. They want their voices heard now, and they've got a channel where that can happen.
I find more and more as I'm wandering around, people come up to me and they say, "We saw you on television." I say, "Oh yes, on what?" "On GB News." "Hello, are you the famous Sue?"
The whole crew with me here now. We came to celebrate.
It's our job to be the eyes and ears of the viewers.
They are part of the GB News family, and I'm pleased to say it's a very large family.
And if people go to the time and trouble of listening and watching, then we've got to do a good job for them.
Well, I'm here, right in the epicentre of the protest.
Here we go again.
You just tuned in. Where have you been?
It is raucous here tonight.
That's what makes us the fearless champion of Britain.
Good morning. Andy Burnham is plotting a major crackdown on youth sickness benefits. Young claimants could lose their payments unless they agree to training or voluntary work.
Well, more than 430,000 young people now claim sickness benefits as the Prime Minister scrambles to cut Britain's staggering £333 billion welfare bill in order to fund defence and social care.
But could the plans trigger another Labour civil war? And should young people with anxiety and autism be forced to work for their benefits?
And in other news, German police have shot dead the man suspected of driving a van into a crowd near Berlin's Pride Festival, killing a woman and injuring seriously at least 29 others.
British tourists are being urged to flee southwestern France as apocalyptic wildfires close in on Bordeaux. More than 250,000 people have so far been evacuated, with flames now at the city's gates. We're going to bring you the very latest.
Shocking scenes there. And Prince Harry set to return to Britain again within weeks, and the King will once again offer him a room at Buckingham Palace. It's a sign the royal family's rift has healed, or is it?
Luke Littler continued his dominance of darts by retaining the World Match Play title and smashing records held by the legendary Phil Taylor. In the Premier League, Arsenal are ready to go to £400,000 a week to land Vinny Jr. And...
Hello there. A few showers around this morning, otherwise still very dry across many areas. Not only this, but we've got some summer heat returning. Stay tuned and I'll have all the details.
Oh, no, we did.
All right. Well, look, we've got a lot more to go. Good morning. It is, it's 8 a.m.
It is, yeah. I'm Ellie Costello.
And I'm Alex Armstrong, and this is GB News Breakfast.
Well, should we get straight into it this hour? Because
Yes.
we're going to be speaking to the government very, very shortly. We want to get in a little lowdown on all of the political news this morning before we chat to them, because Andy Burnham is reportedly planning a crackdown on youth sickness benefits in an effort to reallocate billions of pounds in funding for social care and defence.
That's right. Young people are facing being stripped of their benefits unless they agree to do some form of training or voluntary work under the proposed measures.
Well, the proposal comes as part of an effort to reduce the country's £333 billion welfare bill. It's
staggering.
Eye-watering, isn't it?
Staggering.
Ministers hope that training and voluntary work will help to bring sick young people back into the workforce.
Right, well, we're now joined by the one and only Christo Foufas here to talk about this. But look, we have spoken a lot about these youth sickness benefits cuts, but there's more being mooted in the press today. On the front page of the iPaper, council tax and stamp duty to be scrapped under Burnham plans. This is a major overhaul.
Massive story. So you're quite right. We've got this benefits cuts story about trying to get these younger people into some sort of training course. Again, looking good on paper, but the devil will be in the detail. But you're absolutely right. The other really big story that's being mooted, it dropped last night, it's made it onto the front page of the iPaper, is council tax and stamp duty to be scrapped under Burnham plan. So they are reporting this as happening. Now, this is something that Andy Burnham has been on his mind for a couple of years, well before he became Prime Minister, and that is the idea of getting rid of stamp duty, which is, of course, the amount of tax you pay when you buy a home. Conservatives are talking about scrapping it all together at the next election, but stamp duty, and also a tax that replaces both stamp duty and your monthly council tax bill. And this would be some sort of proportional property tax. It would be an annual flat rate, and it would be calculated at 0.48% of your home's current value, or, as it's being mooted, a land value tax. So they will take what they believe to be the amount that your home is worth. So let's say that your home is worth, I don't know, £1 million if it's in the south of England, which is an eye-watering amount for some people, but in the south east and sort of south of Northampton, it's probably not an unreasonable amount that people will pay. Your bill would be £4,800 a year if that was what your home was assessed at being. If it was £500,000, then it would end up being £2,400 a year. Now, that would be an amount that you would pay instead of your stamp duty, instead of your council tax. So the winners in this would be the people who are buying their homes for the first time. They wouldn't end up paying stamp duty, but they would pay more probably than their council tax every single year. But of course, this is going to make people absolutely furious for a number of reasons. Firstly, if you have bought your home and paid stamp duty already, well, what benefit do you get from then paying more after that when you've already paid stamp duty? Will the government be saying, well, hang on, no, we won't charge you because you've paid stamp duty already? Of course not. Secondly, how much will this cost to administer? Now, remember Rachel Reeves's mansion tax, which is due to come in April of next year. Well, at the moment, current figures estimate that that's already cost £400 million before it's raised a single penny. How? Because, of course, people are not buying homes anywhere near that £2 million mark, which is the threshold of that mansion tax, meaning the government has lost stamp duty receipts. And also, it's estimated that that would cost about £150 million to assess the costs of each property. So that's a lot of money before they've actually raised any.
OK, Christopher Fupas, thank you so much. It's been really good to have your company today. Thank you so much. Well, let's speak to the government now, shall we? And the Minister of State for Intergovernmental Relations and European Relations, Hamish Faulkner, joins us now. Very good morning to you, Mr. Faulkner. Thank you for joining us on GB News Breakfast. We're just talking about this story that's on the front page of The Eye this morning, that council tax and stamp duty are to be scrapped under Andy Burnham's new plans. Is there any truth to this reporting?
I would not get at all carried away with the front pages. I see they've all got a range of different proposals that apparently our government is going to bring in. We've got a new Chancellor, a new Prime Minister. They'll set this stuff out in the normal way. I've got nothing further to add to speculation in the press.
Well, yeah, well, that's all very good and well, Mr. Faulkner, but indeed you are the government. You run this country. We don't have a plan for how this country is going to be governed under this current Prime Minister, do we? And do you not think the British public deserves to have at least some certainty on what their tax burden might look like, that there might be some sort of economic plan laid out by the new Prime Minister by now?
We obviously do have a plan. The Prime Minister is committed to the manifesto. He set out a whole range, the manifesto, the one I was elected under in 2024. I mean,
well, that's great. You won't be changing council tax and stamp duty or anything else. I'm guessing it will all carry on as it was under Keir Starmer, will it?
Prime Minister Andy Burnham set out at the weekend. He remains committed to the manifesto. It was what I was elected under, and we stand by it. Of course, we do have budgets, we have spending reviews, and Chancellor John Healey will set our position out in the usual way.
Tell us about these plans that Andy Burnham has now to crack down on youth sickness benefits and get more young people into work. It's something like 16.4% of young people now not in work or training. What can be done in order to get them back into work and try and reduce this eye-watering £333 billion welfare bill?
So the Prime Minister spoke about this over the weekend. I think it is so important that there are more young people getting into work with the support that they need. I know that if people don't get into work when they're young, it gets much harder as you get older to get a proper job and to get you self-established in working life. So he talked both about how do we make sure that people get the support that they need. Now, under Keir Starmer, we introduced a really important guarantee, 18 months without work, and we'll make sure that you get training or some kind of work to get you started. But I know that the Prime Minister cares deeply about this. He's really focused on the Milburn review into these questions, and he'll be saying more in the weeks ahead, I'm sure.
Yeah, indeed. Youth unemployment is also reaching 30-year highs, 743,000 young people unemployed, while over 1.01 million are classified as not in education, employment or training. There's a slight issue there where at least many parts of the industry are indeed saying that they can't hire young people anymore because of tax increases like national insurance that are pricing them out of the market. So you sort of got this double-edged sword here where you need to at least encourage business to hire young people, but also get them off of benefits, because either way they'll be just back on the unemployment list, won't they, otherwise, Mr. Faulkner?
I think it is so important to get young people into employment. I think there are too many young people who are, as you say, NEETs, not in employment, education or training. That's why we set out some of the measures that we have under Keir Starmer. But I think it's right that we look at that review by Alan Milburn, which sets out the various factors which are shaping these trends, and really try and get on top of it, because it is such a tragedy not to have more young people working. It's important not only that people pay their own way, but also that they get dignified, meaningful work so that they can have the fullest possible life.
Can I ask about the situation in Berlin at the weekend? Absolutely horrific scenes, that car ramming. One woman is dead, 29 others are injured. The police now are looking into this alleged Islamist terror attack, and that the attacker has been shot and killed during a police operation there. This is an attack on the West, isn't it? This is an attack on our ideals. What is being done to tackle that threat here in this country? Because there will now be fears, Mr. Faulkner, of copycat-style attacks in this country.
So firstly, let me just say, it is a horrific attack. We stand with Germany, we stand with the LGBT plus community. I know that an attack like this on Pride will have such a chilling effect, but we will take all of the necessary steps here. I know that the Home Secretary is very focused on ensuring, alongside the police, that all of those kinds of celebrations of the free life that we live here in the UK will be properly secured. So it is a horrible attack, but we must not let it press too much upon us. We will take the steps necessary to keep people safe.
Talking about that attack, one of your colleagues, Labour MP Kate Osborne, has seemingly used this attack to conflate, it seems, or point fingers at not only Reform UK, but even including here, GB News. I think that those comments are utterly disgusting. I think making a political statement out of that attack like that is beyond despicable. Will you condemn making such comments by politicians here in this country, and indeed rather focus on the threat at hand?
So I haven't seen the comments that you're referring to. It's obviously a totally horrific attack. We should all be united against it, but I haven't seen the comments you're referring to.
Well, I'll just press you on that, Mr. Faulkner, because it has been very prolific over the last 24 hours. I guess maybe if you haven't seen the comments, let me just ask you this. Do you think it's appropriate for politicians to use an Islamist terrorist attack to blame other parts of Britain, or at least conflate the elements of the press and other political parties and perhaps point fingers at them for this?
Look, this is an attack in Germany. As I say, I haven't seen the comments, but it doesn't seem to me that it has anything to do with the press in Britain. So I haven't seen the comments, but that doesn't sound right to me.
West Streeting today is saying, I will resign if we do not meet defence spending pledge. Obviously, this comes just weeks after the resignation of the then Chancellor and the then Defence Secretary, and the then Minister for Armed Forces, both resigning over the same issue. Is Andy Burnham's government going to pledge to spend more on defence? Are we finally going to see that timeline for 3% and then 3.5% of GDP being spent on defence?
We are going to spend more on defence, and you can tell how serious Andy Burnham is about it by the fact that he appointed John Healey as Chancellor. There's no one in this country who I think has been clearer on that point. Of course, John Healey is going to have to set out our plans in the usual way through the budget and spending reviews process that I mentioned earlier, but I take real confidence, and the whole country should take real confidence, that the Prime Minister is really serious about that, and that is reflected in his appointment of Chancellor.
Let's talk to you about Ukraine. Zelensky's coming to meet the Prime Minister today. What should we expect to hear from the Prime Minister? Will we be reaffirming our commitment to Ukraine?
We absolutely will be. It is incredibly important to this Prime Minister, as it was to the last, and to be fair, even to Prime Ministers before that. The UK will stand with Ukraine. One of the announcements today will be about further clever British technology being transferred to Ukraine. It's called Stone Cloak, which is going to enable them to continue fighting their very important war of defence against a Russian invasion.
OK, Hamish Faulkner, thank you for being so generous with your time this morning on GB News Breakfast. Thank you.
All right, well, let's have a look at some other stories coming into the newsroom, shall we?
And as we were just discussing, Andy Burnham will welcome Volodymyr Zelensky to Downing Street today, his first international visitor since becoming PM. Burnham says Britain's support for Ukraine remains unwavering. Well, during the visit, he'll announce that the UK is handing over the technology behind its new Stone Cloak electronic warfare system, allowing Ukraine to produce it at scale.
The families of those killed in the RAF Chinook crash are calling on the Prime Minister Andy Burnham to order a fresh independent review into the 1994 disaster. They've asked to meet him within his first 100 days in office, saying they want truth rather than years of further legal action. Well, 29 military personnel died when the helicopter crashed indeed in Scotland.
Motor finance customers who may be owed compensation are being reminded that they don't need to pay a claims company in order to make a complaint. The Financial Conduct Authority has launched a £2 million advertising campaign encouraging people to complain directly to their lender using a free template letter on its website. The regulator says many customers are unaware that they can make a claim at no cost.
And brace yourselves, the UK's fourth heat wave of the year is on its way, with temperatures expected to reach up to 33 degrees again this week. Can you believe it? A yellow heat wave health alert has been issued from Tuesday morning to Friday across the East and West Midlands, as well as the south of England and Yorkshire. Well, emergency services say they are bracing for further wildfires, and firefighters in England and Wales are currently tackling 19 blazes.
Now let's get a check on the weather with Anna.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Boxed Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
Hello there, good morning. Welcome to your GB News weather update from the Met Office. Fewer showers around compared to what we had yesterday. Still very dry across much of England and Wales. Not only that, but we're also going to see temperatures climb through the early part of this week. For now, though, mostly dry for many areas. Some sunshine across much of the east, clouding over from the west through the course of the morning. Just a few showers filtering through, but actually most of these easing away by the afternoon. So mostly dry day ahead for many areas. Some fairly decent sunny spells across much of England and Wales, certainly towards the south. This is where we'll see the best of the temperatures, highs of around 26 degrees Celsius, but even further north, highs widely in the low 20s, so still feeling warm in the brightness. Then to finish off the day, across many eastern areas of Scotland, it should be mostly dry, but there will still be some showers pushing in from the west, filtering through at times. Similar across Northern Ireland, some showers before some longer spells of rain just start to edge their way in further west. Some drizzly showers perhaps across northwest England and parts of Wales, but still very dry for many areas. Through the overnight period, we'll start to see a bit of a north-south split in our weather, turning very unsettled towards the northwest with some spells of rain pushing their way northeastwards. This will start to turn quite heavy for some areas during the early parts of the morning. Once again, a mix of cloud, and it's likely the clearest skies will be across the far southeast, but for most it's a slightly warmer night to come, especially across southern areas of England and Wales. Now on Tuesday, quite a lot of rain around towards the north. This will gradually push its way northeastward, still with some heavy areas of rain at times, eventually clearing for much of Northern Ireland, northern parts of England and Scotland, so brighter here by the afternoon, bar a few showers. But towards the south of this, it's still another dry day with some sunny spells by the afternoon. Temperatures higher compared to what we'll have today as well, pushing into the high 20s, if not the low 20s across the north.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Box Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
Now, still to come, this has made us laugh this morning, hasn't it?
We love this one.
Should James Bond lose his licence to flirt?
What's the point? What's the point of being this international spy, going around doing all those things if you can't have a little flirt?
I know. Would it be James Bond if he wasn't flirting?
No.
Well, a former Bond girl says 007 needs to settle down with one woman and treat her as his equal in order to reflect this modern world.
Well, that wouldn't be very spy-like either, would it, frankly? But we're going to talk about all of this. But first of all, the school holidays are well and truly underway. British families are choosing to holiday here in the UK more, apparently.
Yes, we're going to be live in Poole to find out what Brits are loving most about this summer season. That's next.
Breaking news, live updates, stories that matter.
From the heart of the GB newsroom to every corner of Britain, with our team of dedicated journalists across the UK.
GB News bulletins are there to deliver the latest news that matters to you. Bulletins on GB News,
the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Exciting news. Every Friday, my Patrick Christie's Tonight Show is going to have a twist to it. We're welcoming some special guests. You. That's right, on Fridays I'm going to be doing my show in front of a live studio audience because this show is about you and what you have to say. It's going to be the same big debates, same big topics, same big opinions, but every Friday night at 9 p.m. you are invited to come on down to Patrick Christie's Tonight to be a part of the action. Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation, isn't it?
No,
because the failure is...
You're deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back.
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
And we do not shy away from the difficult stuff. Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood. So join me on Jubes & Co weeknights at 6 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
From the school run to the home run, watch a new show for all of Britain.
He can say whatever he wants.
A straight talking show where all voices are heard.
And, you know, when are we going to stop talking about smashing the gangs and actually do it?
With the stories that matter from every part of our country.
There's a bit of a crash landing there for your Chancellor.
Bold, fearless and standing up for you. That's me, Martin Daubney, 3 p.m. till 6 p.m, weekdays, here only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Do you trust what you're being told? Good, because neither do I.
Those are just facts.
I'm Alex Armstrong, and on my show, we'll expose the spin. Well, I want to answer that, because you didn't let me last time, because you always speak over me. The broken promises.
To deny that is denying the truth.
And the hypocrisy. We
needs to stop.
You think we can allow? Politics, policy, Parliament. Nothing is off limits. No sugarcoating, no fear of offence, just the truth laid bare. Tune in every Saturday and Sunday at 9 p.m. for Alex Armstrong Tonight, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Here at GB News, we made a promise to tell your stories.
And on the 6th of August, we're marking 5 years of doing exactly that.
Celebrate with us by having your say. joining the debates live on TV and radio.
And meeting your favourite presenters across the country, from Leeds to Aberdeen, from Belfast to Barry Island.
Plus, join me in Essex for our biggest live show of the year. Scan the QR code or visit gbnews.com/celebrate. Terms and conditions apply.
Welcome back to breakfast. It's 8:23 now. The school holidays are well underway. Well, there you go. That was a question from earlier on.
What was the question?
The kids aren't at school anymore.
Oh, right, yeah. Good to know.
We were like, are the kids still at school? No, they're very much on their holidays. There you go.
Oh.
And British families are off on holiday, and lots of them are deciding to stay in the UK.
Well, not surprising, really. With the Mediterranean weather, we're enjoying here, aren't we? It's 30 degrees consistently now. What's the point?
Yeah.
What's the point?
We get great weather here.
We want to know what they're loving about it. And GB News, of course, has been visiting some of the biggest holiday hotspots around Britain.
Of course. Well, GB News' South England reporter Isabel Fekulak has got the best job in the universe. She's in Poole today. Morning to you, Isabel.
Good morning to you both, Ellie and Alex. Yeah, I'm in a beautiful part of the world. As you say, their school holidays well underway. School is out for summer. Term time is over, and people are heading out on their summer holidays. And more than ever, people are choosing to staycation, to holiday in the UK. As you say, they're likely due to the beautiful Mediterranean weather we've been having. Why travel far when you have the holiday sun right on your doorstep? People have been appreciating Britain's beauty spots even more. And another factor, of course, the flight prices going up due to the conflict in the Middle East and the cost of living crisis as well. But nonetheless, a great thing for local economy, a great thing for UK tourism. I'm here at a Haven holiday park in Poole. It's absolutely stunning. And they say that year after year they are getting more and more people staycationing, and that this year they are expecting a record-breaking summer for holidaymakers. I've been chatting to some holidaymakers already this morning. Take a listen as to what they love so much about this spot here in Poole. So what brings you back to Haven? You're an owner, but what makes you love this place?
Well, we love the environment, and the weather's been amazing, and the dog loves the area, and we love the nature, but we've also got Poole Town Centre, and the bus is amazing.
And this year, obviously the weather's been amazing. Are you choosing more to come here rather than go abroad?
Oh, definitely. It's much easier, no hassles with the airport. We're only 2 hours away, so we can jump in the car and go when we want. Yes, it's absolutely perfect.
Better than spending money on flights and...
Yeah, definitely, and you can get here without any problems.
Well, it seems to be a trend that holidaymakers are choosing to stay in the UK. In fact, according to Sky's Holiday Cottages, their 2026 Sky Staycation planning a UK break this year. What I found interesting about that stat as well is that younger travellers are taking the lead with that trend. So 53% of 18 to 28-year-olds are planning a UK trip as their main holiday as well, rather than going abroad. And another trend is that people are taking more frequent, shorter breaks as opposed to those bigger holidays. Now, I'll be here in Haven throughout the day in Poole chatting to lots of holidaymakers. We'll be going around the place and doing all the activities as well, so stay with me. We'll bring lots more from holidaymakers here in Poole in the Haven Holiday Park.
Well, thank you very much, Isabel, there. Hopefully you get some more sunshine. You're looking very summery, so enjoy yourself while you can. I know you are still working, so thanks for joining us. There we go.
Working. She's having a lovely time.
Talking to the
in the
dog
sunshine.
walkers. I love it. That's great.
Yeah,
that's great.
Lovely stuff. There's
Always
lots
stuck
more
here.
where that came from as well.
There is.
A whole series of that.
There is 33 degrees supposedly this week.
Well, if you are travelling down to Poole or anywhere in the country, here's your traffic and travel update.
This is the latest AI travel news from gbnews.com. In Kent, drivers on the M20 eastbound at Junction 7 will encounter roadworks with one lane closed. Northamptonshire's M1 southbound at Junction 18 is also undergoing improvements, causing a lane restriction. West Yorkshire's A1M is restricted due to roadworks between junctions 43 and 44 northbound. On Birmingham's M6, road upgrades cause lane closures between junctions 5 and 4A. Meanwhile, Buckinghamshire's M40 southbound between junction 5 and 4 is affected by maintenance. Cheshire's M56 eastbound and Coventry's M45 eastbound near Rugby Face Lane closures. For more travel news, go to gbnews.com.
Now, do stay with us. Still to come, Aidan's got all your sports.
Yes, indeed. Luke Littler has retained the World Match Play title and is even eclipsing the legendary Phil Taylor. Find out how with me after the break.
At GB News, we love to hear from you, our loyal community. So drop us a line at gbnews.com/yoursay. There you can talk to each other and also to the presenters live on air. gbnews.com/yoursay, because GB News is your channel, Britain's news channel.
Bold. They are under no illusion. Ray. Are you a human trafficker? Boundless. I've had enough of the nonsense, and I'm not afraid to say it. Don't get us on the BBC. Every weeknight, I tear through the headlines. The smell of gasoline. Should we be worried about it? From Westminster madness to cultural war chaos. What I'm going to do now is they are throwing out the car as we speak. Get ready, Britain. Here we go. Patrick Christie's tonight, weeknights from 9 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Join me, Nana Okoye, for an informative, interactive news programme with a difference. It's fun.
No, he didn't say that, Dave.
I'm so surprised.
I think there's an element of truth to that.
Join me from 3 p.m. every weekend, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Welcome to Free Speech Nation with me, Josh Howard. This is the show where each week we see what's happening in the world of culture, current affairs and politics.
First we'll say, welcome to the UK.
And we're not afraid to use our free speech so that you can use yours.
It's not controversial in the slightest to anyone who hasn't lost their mind.
Free Speech Nation, Sunday nights at 7 p.m, only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
You want to know what's really going on in the corridors of power? Labour don't know what to do with you half the time, and that makes you quite lethal in the chamber. Get behind the headlines with Chopper's Political Podcast. Join me, Christopher Hope, as I sit down with the great and the good of British politics. We'll see where this ruling takes us. These are the stories shaping our nation. Chopper's Political Podcast, available now on all platforms. Listen in and stay ahead.
As soon as it hits 11 and the headlines come in,
The Late Edition brings you the breaking news from all the front pages.
because the news is going to happen.
So get a head start today.
Patrick Christie's tonight, Late Edition.
Alex Armstrong tonight, Late Edition. From 11 o'clock every night.
Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation,
No,
Because the failure is...
You're deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back,
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
and we do not shy away from the difficult stuff. Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood. So join me on Jubes & Co. weeknights at 6 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
To all of you who voted for GB News to win at the Trick Awards for the 4th year in a row.
The winner is GB News.
Thank you so much for voting for us. It's because of you that we're so proud to be the People's Channel, and it's because of you that we are Britain's news channel.
It's voted for the people who watch us.
Well, we've got the best viewers in the world, haven't we? The most loyal viewers.
Thank you.
Welcome back, everybody. Aidan McGee's here with all the sports. And Aidan, look, I want to start off by asking you, what is so special about Luke Littler?
Well, it helps that he's absolutely fantastic at what he does, first and foremost. Any sports star needs to fit that criteria. Excellence, OK? Secondly, he has already accomplished a lot in his career. £3 million in excess of in the last 2 years. That's just prize money. That's not including endorsements or anything like that. Over the last, I think 20 months or something. 2 World Championship titles, the World Match Play yesterday he retained, and he's only 19 years old. The teenage sensation. He's dominating darts, and it's a great story. How does someone of that age, Ellie, get so dominant in their sport and become the face of the whole organisation. I mean, it's a lot of pressure for one so young to bear, and yet he's doing that right now. I think he'll get some challenges in the next couple of years. As I explained to you a couple of hours ago, the Junior Darts Corporation means that you're seeing younger competitors coming through at a younger age than they would have done maybe 10, 15 years ago. But when you've got somebody like this who is young, who is out in front, and he's there to be shot at, then I think you've got a recipe for success, really, because darts has been crying out for that since Phil Taylor. Phil Taylor, though, was in his 50s when he was doing his stuff. Yep. And I think that, yes, he's quite entertaining on stage, but he didn't capture the imagination in quite the way Luke Littler did. And in terms of his endorsements, I think he signed a multi-year deal with his Dart Flights company recently, which will net him millions of pounds over years. So he's here to stay. But I mean, if he's this successful at 19, I mean, he may not have reached his peak. Although saying that, Boris Becker back in the 80s, I mean, he reached his peak probably 18, 19. He didn't. I think after about 1989, he only won one Grand Slam. So it's possible to peak early. Yep. But hopefully that won't happen with Luke Littler, because all these sports, especially the ones outside of football, they need their stars, especially the individual sports. You know, you think of tennis with Pete Sampras and Roger Federer, Rafa Nadal. You need someone you can build a narrative around that marketeers and advertisers and broadcasters can get excited about. And in golf, we saw Tiger Woods for years and years. The reason they cling to him, even though he's not really done much in golf since 2008, the reason they still cling to him now is because he's a reminder of that Halcyon era when he was so dominant and everyone else around him got rich as a result of his success.
Well, that's right.
Yeah. Can we just have a quick look at the F1?
Yes, absolutely. Lando Norris taking victory in Hungary. He was on pole anyway, so not a huge surprise, but a good performance nonetheless. He's not really getting the credit he deserves, given that he is the champion. Yeah. Maybe F1's just not as popular as it was. I'm not sure. I guess people. There've been lots of.
Oh, it definitely is.
I just don't think he's getting the media attention he deserves, frankly, and it's actually a shame because we should be celebrating people like Lando.
Well, this is the thing. I mean, there's almost a Tiger Woods effect in F1 because there's more narrative and more stories, more paraphernalia around Lewis Hamilton, even though he hasn't won anything for the last 6 years, than there is over the guy who is winning it, Lando Norris. Maybe Lando Norris doesn't have the personality, I don't know. Maybe his personality is still developing. It's not that easy to get your public persona absolutely right. But I am starting to see him appear in adverts. I think they're trying to push him a little bit. Yeah. But I don't know whether enough people would know Lando Norris if they passed him in the street, on that high street. You know, you could walk past an advert for Lando Norris and not necessarily know who that person is. Whereas with in terms of recognisability factor, Lewis Hamilton is right up there, and he's with Ferrari as well, which is prestigious. I will say though, Lewis Hamilton is second in the overall listings, and there's more to come from him, I'm sure. Let's hope so anyway.
Oh, definitely. Thanks, Aidan.
Thank you. All right, well, look, still to come, a criminal has reportedly dodged deportation due to the fact that his child has nightmares.
We're going to go through that and much more in the papers with Chris Akabusi and Dawn Neeson. That's up next.
And that's before that gets your blood boiling. Let's see what the weather is going to get you sweating as well.
Ready to soak up that holiday sunshine?
Won't we need some cover?
No worries, all sorted.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
Hello there. Another heat wave is set to impact much of Europe, bringing intense sunshine. There's very little sign of any rain. Across parts of Iberia, temperatures could push back up into the high 30s, if not the low 40s degrees Celsius. The heat may be enough to produce some very hit or miss showers across parts of Italy, but not really any significant rainfall and not really sign of much rainfall to come. The sunshine is set to continue alongside the high temperatures.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
GB News Breakfast, every day from 6 a.m.
Olympian Sharon Davies. Sharon, thanks so much for joining us this morning. I think this is preposterous that we're banning Sports Day for kids, and our viewers are obviously also thinking this is completely bonkers. But is there a case to be made that perhaps we should be looking after young people when the heat is quite extreme in many people's cases, they'll say? What do you think, Sharon?
I think looking after our kids is making them resilient and giving them a sports day. I mean, sport in schools has been relegated year on year on year, and it's so depressing. You know, it's such an important part of young people's lives. Give them a hat, give them some sunscreen, make sure they're drinking plenty of water, stick them in the shade when they're not, actually having a little race. This is all about just kids getting used to life, and wrapping them in cotton wool is not the answer.
The People's Channel. Britain's newsroom. Weekday mornings from 9:30.
So you go along to the car showroom and only like 10%, at most maybe 15%, pay cash. The rest buy on some form of financing. And you often buy, it's a bit like a mortgage, and you buy, it's like buying a mortgage from the estate agent, which we all know is a terribly bad idea. But this is what people did. And the deal is, the scandal is, the guys in the showroom were acting as dealers and brokers, and they were in many cases inflating the interest rate that you paid so that they could get bigger commission. And they didn't declare that. So you basically ended up paying more for your car than you would otherwise have done if you'd gone into the open market and found yourself, you know, a better deal.
How did that come to light?
Well, over many years. I mean, this has been going on since 2007.
GB News, the People's Channel. GB News Breakfast, every day from 6 a.m.
Ruth Ellis was executed on the 13th of July 1955. She was convicted of murdering a partner, David Blakely. There's been a long campaign about what to do about all of that. She has now had a conditional pardon, which would mean she would have been sentenced to life rather than sentenced to death. So it's a significant move, but what do her family make of it? Well, her grandson, Stephen Beard, is here alongside solicitor Grace Horton. Good to see you both this morning. I mean, look, from a family perspective, Stephen, what does this mean?
It's huge. It was a monumental day yesterday. In essence, it's the removal of a negative blotch in our family history. You know, we have effectively rewritten history because ultimately, for the last 70-odd years, the truth hasn't been known.
GB News, the People's Channel.
Welcome back. We're going through the papers this morning in the company of Chris Akabusi and Dawn Nisa. Morning, you two.
Morning.
Dawn, let's start with you, shall we? And this one in The Sun. Fury as drug dealer dodges deportation to Albania. Why?
Oh, I love this story, don't you? Yeah, because you could say he's taking the pee, and the clue is in that title, that headline. It's because his daughter has a bed-wetting problem. So he is a drug dealer. He arrived in this country when he was 14 years old. He's being caught by the National Crime Agency, handing over more than £300,000. But human rights, he can't actually be deported because his daughter, we don't know how old the daughter is, has a bedwetting issue.
I mean, it's bonkers. It's just absolutely... I mean, it makes our country look like a total joke.
Because it is a total joke, Alex.
Yeah.
We don't just look like it, we are actually a total joke. It is ridiculous. And we've had chicken nuggets and now we have bedwetting kids. And then didn't we have the paedophile at one point who couldn't be deported because of his right to a family life? He needed to be near his own kids.
Well, we had one the other weekend we were reporting as well, and I think I covered it on my show, which was another Albanian drug dealer couldn't be deported because his wife had complex PTSD and he did all the cooking and cleaning.
Oh, my heart bleeds for these people, it really does. Oh, make it stop.
But it's these stories that we see time and time again, which is why this argument keeps coming home to roost. We need to leave the ECHR. Yeah, because the right, Article 8, right to a family life, seems to dominate over everything else.
Well, isn't a new government meant to be clamping down on that and tightening up the Article 8 and the right to human rights?
Well, they say, and the people on the left will argue, that actually the ECHR can be interpreted differently because you look at places like Denmark, for example, the signatories of it, and they're able to deport people.
Yeah, absolutely.
So actually, that's what they argue with me very often. So I know that talking point pretty well, but that's what they would say.
Yeah,
that's what they would say.
We should just say the Home Office has challenged the decision and a new hearing has been ordered.
Indeed.
Oh, great. More money wasted.
We'll stay tuned on that one.
We haven't got very long, Chris, but I do want to get on to everyone's
Pussy galore!
Not quite.
Oh, OK, so...
Actually, let's go on to Pussy galore, shall we? Seeing as you seem so excited.
That's
Pussy galore. Story we're doing.
Goldfinger!
Go on then, Chris.
License to thrill. Come on. I can't believe this level of wokery. Our Bond has got to be a guy whose woman is his equal, whose woman is physically and emotionally like him. This is our spy. He fights the...
With attachments like that in Bond's world would be a real serious risk. In fact, one of the Bond movies played that out, didn't it?
Wouldn't make a very good spy, would it?
Wouldn't make a very good spy. Yeah, wouldn't make a very good spy. But also the modern world, if I'm not being misunderstood, but young people are getting married later and later and having children later and later. So if we're going to have a young Bond, the modern world is actually not monogamy. It's actually young people still doing what they want to do.
Young people do what young people
Pussy
do.
galore.
Pussy galore! Absolutely.
How many times we can weave that joke seamlessly into the conversation?
And what was the one you come up with? There's a new Bond girl.
I didn't even know there's a Bond girl called Plenty O'Toole.
No, there's not.
No, there isn't, is there?
Let's keep Bond the way it's always been, mate.
Something totally different, but I really wanted your views on this one. Adam Peaty, or Adam Ramsey Peaty, should I say now?
Yeah.
Did you see the interview that he did over the weekend after coming third? So he got a bronze medal in the Commonwealth Games. Wasn't happy with it, was he? He said his effort and his work deserved better than he did on the day.
Well, I mean, in an athlete's world, the Commonwealth Games is ranked 4th to the Olympics, Worlds, Europeans. Adam Peaty broke the world record in 2016 for the 50-metre breaststroke. He's been world champion, Olympic champion, blah, blah, blah. I can see that a bronze is disappointing. The backstory is that he's married into Ramsey's family and there's all of this celebrity status going on and he's in love with his wife. I don't know the real story behind it, but Adam, make sure you call your mum.
Yeah, he did allude to the fact that this family drama has impacted his performance.
Well, it does. Sure, it does. I mean, Chris, you obviously were an amazing athlete, but if you've got stuff going on in your personal life, it has to impact how you're feeling with your training, and you can't just compartmentalise.
100%. Well, most of us, if you've got a missus, I had a missus through my athletic career, she is fundamental in how she creates the environment for you to feel really able to take on the world, because at home it's safe and secure.
All right, one more story, because I did want to get to this before we started talking about pussy galore. I want to talk about...
I'm loving you, Bob. I'm loving you, Bob.
No, this is you. This is all you, Chris Akabusi. Don't pin it on me. I'm a professional, all right? I didn't mention that name once. Let's just get that clear.
You did, actually. You mentioned it.
Actually, the only person who hasn't is Ellie, I think.
Ellie,
we've got one professional on.
Family show, guys.
James Bond could be a family movie. What are you talking about, Ellie? Look, let's talk about MasterChef, another family show.
Oh, yes.
Everyone's favourite Duchess has made an surprise appearance on MasterChef in Australia, Chris.
I really don't know what to do.
Oh, dear.
Well, why don't we pass it to you?
Yeah, pass it on to Dawn.
Oh, thanks.
Pass the Dutchie to the right-hand side.
God, that was really bad. What have you got in your teeth? Some American actress went on a show in Australia, basically.
Yeah.
And evidently, Harry likes meat and two veg.
Have we got a clip of it? I'd love to show a clip of it, right? Because you've watched it, haven't you?
I haven't watched it,
You haven't watched it. You've seen some clips.
I have seen a clip. Let's have a look now.
Please welcome to MasterChef Australia, the Duchess of Sussex.
Oh, my God.
No. Meghan Markle!
Thank you. Thank you. I'm so happy to be here.
We've had a phone call to studio.
Hi, my love.
Good weird.
Hi. My husband's here.
Have I interrupted something?
Well, we are actually in the middle of tasting all of the dishes. We wish you were here. He's in Canberra right now. Yeah, we do. With the veterans.
Oh,
So that's actually different to the clip that I saw. So the clip that I saw was, if you're familiar with MasterChef, you'll know that they get a 30-minute warning before the end of the challenge. And Meghan Markle is told, they've got 30 minutes if you'd like to just announce it. She said, I don't like shouting. So she was going to... That sounded quite Trump-like, didn't it? So she went to each individual contestant and just went, you've got 30 minutes left. Because she didn't like shouting.
I mean, my
and the whole process took quite a while.
My simple take, she's a working woman, got to make money, she's back to her roots. What was the show? Suits? She used to do Suits, wasn't it, or something?
Suits, that's right, yeah.
So she's an actress, and she's doing...
I totally respect that, Chris. I have no problem with her wanting to do these things. My issue is that they constantly said they wanted privacy, they wanted the media to be away from them, they didn't like all this attention, and they're back in front of the cameras. And I think if that was their intention, they have failed dramatically to have their private life that they said they wanted.
Yeah, but she's not asking for intrusion into a private life. She's asking to do a professional job. It's a job. I mean, we're all here. We're all working. We don't want intrusion. We don't ask for intrusion into a private life.
The thing is, this was on their not at all royal tour of Australia. This was filmed when her and Harry went out to Australia. Not at all a royal tour. They kissed babies and cut ribbons, etc., and open centres. But it wasn't a royal tour, OK, everybody. And that's when this was filmed. Yeah, but, I mean, it's like...
Yeah, but Prince Harry's Prince Harry. So if he goes somewhere, you can't see... I used to be an athlete. If I go... So you talk about your athletics. I can't say I never did that. You know,
yeah, I mean, I guess the other thing, I mean, I'm kind of... I don't really care about these two very much, to be honest with you. The other thing is that how has she gone from putting petals on dishes to being top chef at MasterChef? That's all.
Oh, is she cooking that, is she?
Well, she's judging
she's one of the
chefs.
judges,
Oh, I see.
Is she Gordon Ramsay all of a sudden? That's what I want to know. So that's all it is.
She's done a crash course. She's done a crash course. Come on.
Yeah.
So many of you responding to this. Lynn saying she's trying to make herself relevant again. Renee says they wanted privacy. They never said they wanted privacy, says Renee. Craig says just dining out and being connected to the UK royals.
Yeah, lots of thoughts here. Well, look, let's just turn quickly now to the Daily Express. Woman who is married to a river.
Yeah.
What? Hang on, what? Am I reading that? Woman who's married to a river?
Yeah, this is absolutely crazy. I saw this and I couldn't believe it. So, yeah, Bath and Avon, she's married to a river. Megan Avon tied the knot with a river in 2023. Joyful ceremony, and now she's able to protect the river from pollution. I love the idea.
Wait, so let's just cycle back for a second, Chris. Hang on. A woman called Meg
Avon.
But did she take the last name Avon from the river?
That's a great... I'm assuming
she got married to the River Avon in 2023.
It's a big river.
It's a joyful ceremony. I mean, it must have been...
Well, you're allowed to take
here and there.
You're allowed to take different parts of the river. So she wants other people to take different parts of the river. The question I was asking is, can she be unfaithful to the river?
For safety of others.
Well, let's hope she doesn't get on a boat or down the Thames. I mean, what counts as cheating at that point? What counts as cheating?
Exactly that. So what counts as cheating if you marry the river? And what would you marry in order to protect, apart from your partner, of course?
And for all you geologists around there, I'm sure if you were married to a river, she might drive you around the bend.
Oh, very good.
I'm sorry, I just think it's all pretty shallow.
Any more?
I'm going with the flow with these guys.
Chris, let's return to that story we were talking about in the past hour, shall we? This is Wes Streeting vowing to quit defence if it is not fully funded. Now, there have been some viewers getting in touch saying, does he know something that we don't know?
Well, he knows that the he knows that the last Defence Secretary is the Chancellor of the Exchequer, and he was complaining when he was part of the other government, and that if he doesn't deliver, it's on him, so the egg is on his face. And I'm sure he's had a discussion with the now Prime Minister and the Chancellor of the Exchequer, and they've guaranteed something's going to happen. The word plan doesn't mean it's going to happen. By 2030, we plan to do 3%, means that we are on its way. So, yeah, he can say that, and it's clear that he has confidence in that because of the two people that are above him who've got to deliver on it.
Well, yeah.
Oh, sorry.
No, I was just going to say, Dawn, we were pressing the government on plans earlier on, but the thing is, nobody knows what the plan is.
But they don't have one, that's why. I mean, you know, if they were honest, and I think we'd all appreciate a bit more honesty from our politicians of whatever political persuasion they are, if they were honest, they were saying, well, the things we are saying we are going to do, we know they are mostly uncosted, we're not idiots, but they are treating us like idiots. And it's like, well, you know, they have plans and they have ambitions and they have, you know, sort of like routes towards things, but actually no end game, and that's the problem. And there is no money.
Well, and before we move on, Janie says, I think the river might have been coerced into marrying her. How did it give its consent or sign the register? Good questions for another time. Yeah. Investigative journalism on that one. We'll get Ellie out to the river.
The world has gone mad, hasn't it? Thanks very much, you two, making sense of it all for us. Thank you.
You didn't say pussy galore, Ellie, I noticed.
No. Leave her alone.
Need a few gins before that.
All right, we've got to get to a Great British giveaway, 60 grand tax-free cash and a £5 gold bar. Here's all the details.
We're celebrating a golden summer with a terrific two-part Great British giveaway. First, you could win a sensational £60,000 in tax-free cash to spend however you like this year. What would you do with that? And that's not all, as you'll also win our most precious prize to date, a fine gold bar worth over £5,000. It's pure gold to own, trade or gift to a loved one and secure their financial future. So make sure you don't miss your chance to bank over £65,000 worth of prizes in our Golden Summer celebration. For a chance to win £60,000 in tax-free cash and a real gold bar, text GOLD to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message, or text BONUS to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entry starts at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge, or post your name and number to GB22 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrants must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 21st of August. This is a network giveaway. Entries will be pooled. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
Today's outlook: cool, calm and completely horizontal. Boxed aircon sponsors the weather on GB News.
Hello there, good morning. Welcome to your GB News weather update from the Met Office. Fewer showers around compared to what we had yesterday. Still very dry across much of England and Wales. Not only that, but we're also going to see temperatures climb through the early part of this week. For now, though, mostly dry for many areas. Some sunshine across much of the east, clouding over from the west through the course of the morning. Just a few showers filtering through, but actually most of these easing away by the afternoon. So mostly dry day ahead for many areas. Some fairly decent sunny spells across much of England and Wales, certainly towards the south. This is where we'll see the best of the temperatures, highs of around 26 degrees Celsius, but even further north, highs widely in the low 20s, so still feeling warm in the brightness. Then to finish off the day, across many eastern areas of Scotland, it should be mostly dry, but there will still be some showers pushing in from the west, filtering through at times. Similar across Northern Ireland, some showers before some longer spells of rain just start to edge their way in further west. Some drizzly showers perhaps across northwest England and parts of Wales, but still very dry for many areas. Through the overnight period, we'll start to see a bit of a north-south split in our weather, turning very unsettled towards the northwest with some spells of rain pushing their way northeastwards. This will start to turn quite heavy for some areas during the early parts of the morning. England and Wales. Now on Tuesday, quite a lot of rain around towards the north. This will gradually push its way northeastward, still with some heavy areas of rain at times, eventually clearing for much of Northern Ireland, northern parts of England and Scotland, so brighter here by the afternoon, bar a few. But towards the south of this, it's still another dry day with some sunny spells by the afternoon. Temperatures higher compared to what we'll have today as well, pushing into the high 20s, if not the low 20s across the north.
Today's outlook: cool, calm and completely horizontal. Boxed aircon sponsors the weather on GB News.
Thank you, Britain, for the thousands of you who are becoming friends of GB News each and every week.
This is the latest AI travel news from gbnews.com. In Kent, drivers on the M20 eastbound at Junction 7 will encounter roadworks with one lane closed. Northamptonshire's M1 southbound at Junction 18 is also undergoing improvements, causing a lane restriction. West Yorkshire's A1M is restricted due to roadworks between junctions 43 and 44 northbound. On Birmingham's M6, road upgrades cause lane closures between junctions 5 and 4A. Meanwhile, Buckinghamshire's M40 southbound between junction 5 and 4 is affected by maintenance. Cheshire's M56 eastbound and Coventry's M45 eastbound near Rugby Face lane closures. For more travel news, go to gbnews.com.
We're celebrating a golden summer with a terrific two-part Great British giveaway. First, you could win a sensational £60,000 in tax-free cash. And that's not all, as you'll also win our most precious prize to date, a fine gold bar worth over £5,000. For a chance to win, text GOLD to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message. Or text BONUS to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entry start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB22 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 21st of August. This is a network giveaway. Entries will be pulled. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
From the school run to the home run, watch a new show for all of Britain.
He can say whatever he wants.
A straight talking show where all voices are heard.
And, when are we going to stop talking about smashing the gangs and actually do it?
With the stories that matter from every part of our country.
There's a bit of a crash landing there for your Chancellor.
Bold, fearless and standing up for you. That's me, Martin Daubney, 3 p.m. till 6 p.m, weekdays, here only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Bold. They are under no illusion.
Ray.
Are you a human trafficker?
Boundless. I've had enough of the nonsense, and I'm not afraid to say it.
Don't get this on the BBC.
Every weeknight, I tear through the headlines.
The smell of gasoline. Should we be worried about it?
From Westminster madness to cultural war chaos.
What I'm going to do now, they are throwing things out the car as we speak.
Get ready, Britain. Here we go. Patrick Christie's tonight, weeknights from 9 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Good morning. Andy Burnham is plotting a major crackdown on youth sickness benefits. Young claimants could lose their payments unless they agree to training or voluntary work.
Well, more than 430,000 young people now claim sickness benefits as the Prime Minister scrambles to cut Britain's staggering £333 billion welfare bill in order to fund defence and social care.
It's eye-watering, isn't it? But could the plans trigger another Labour civil war? And should young people with anxiety and autism be forced to work for their benefits?
Well, Minister for Intergovernmental Relations Hamish Faulkner told GB News things need to change.
I think it is so important that there are more young people getting into work with the support that they need.
Elsewhere today, British tourists are being urged to flee southwestern France as apocalyptic wildfires close in on Bordeaux. More than 250,000 people have been evacuated so far, with the flames now at the city's gates. We'll bring you the very latest.
And German police have shot dead the man suspected of driving a van into a crowd near Berlin's Pride Festival, killing one woman and injuring at least 29 others.
Prince Harry is set to return to Britain within weeks, and the King will once again offer him a room at Buckingham Palace. Is it a sign that the royal family rift has healed?
And the school holidays are well underway and British families are choosing to holiday here at home. We'll be live in Paul to find out what Brits are loving the most about this summer season.
Well, yes, the holidays are underway. The sun is shining here in the Haven Holiday Park in Poole. I'm cooling myself off already ahead of this other heat wave that we've got coming. Of course, with that, more Brits will be choosing to staycation here. We'll be chatting to holidaymakers shortly.
Oh, watch your back, Hayley Sparks.
Yeah.
Isabel Fekulak.
That's right.
It's after your job, I think.
Yeah, she might be. She might be. Well, it's just gone 9 a.m.
Coming to a giveaway near you.
Yeah, it has, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. If not, I'll do it, but I don't think anyone wants to see me at the pool.
Oh, well, I don't know about that.
No, I doubt it very much.
Yeah.
But anyway, on actual news, Andy Burnham's reportedly planning to crack down on youth sickness benefits in an effort to reallocate billions of pounds in funding for social care and defence.
Yes, under the plans, young people will face being stripped of their benefits unless they agree to do some form of training or volunteer work under the proposed measures.
Well, the proposal comes as part of an effort to reduce the country's eye-watering £333 billion welfare bill. Ministers are hoping that training and voluntary work will help bring back young people into the workforce.
Well, what do the Tories make of this? Let's speak to Shadow Health Secretary Stuart Andrew, who joins us now. Very good morning to you, Mr. Andrew. Would you welcome this crackdown on youth sickness benefits in order to tackle this ballooning welfare bill?
Yes, of course we would. I mean, Kemi made the offer to Keir Starmer when he was Prime Minister to help him get reforms through. He failed because he didn't stand up to his backbenchers. She has repeated that offer to Andy Burnham, so we'll see whether or not that gets accepted, because this does need to be dealt with. The welfare bill is ballooning out of control. And also, I would say, is having a real detrimental effect on young people. You know, we need a welfare system that is there as a safety net. But in many instances now, it's becoming a trap. And, you know, there are so many young people who say to me that they're struggling to find work, actually, because this government have introduced more costs on businesses to employ young people. So they're hitting them in two areas here, you know, putting more young people on welfare and at the same time making it really difficult for employers to employ young people.
Indeed. Well, just looking towards other things that Burnham the new Prime Minister may be proposing. On the front page of the I paper here, the speculation that council tax and stamp duty might be scrapped under a major overhaul of both those things. We don't know exactly what the Prime Minister's planning. We did put it to the government this morning and they said that nothing's changing or that they were sticking to the manifesto. However, if you're going to scrap council tax and stamp duty, that, to me, screams general election.
Well, there would be certainly a very significant shift from the manifesto that the government were elected on. Look, I mean, we've already said we're going to scrap stamp duty. Kemi made that announcement at our party conference, so welcome it. But where's the detail in all of this? This is the problem. It's all well and good making sort of announcements or briefing out on various topics, but without a proper costed plan, then how is any of this going to be delivered? That is why I think it is, I really do praise the work that Kemi's been doing, because she doesn't just make an announcement. She makes sure that the homework is done first, and then we can be guaranteed that it can be delivered.
Can I ask you on your brief, which is health, because Andy Burnham's been speaking about social care, saying that without urgent reform in social care, the NHS is going to collapse. I don't know if you've seen the exchange on X, but Ed Davey and Andy Burnham have agreed to sit down to talk about how to reform social care as a cross-party issue. Would you also be willing to help Andy Burnham and work with Andy Burnham in order to fix social care in this country?
Well, yes, and we've already been doing that because there were cross-party talks as part of Baroness Casey's review. Unfortunately, we only had 2 meetings, so, I think we need to perhaps ramp that up a bit. But because social care is something that, touches the lives of so many people in the UK, and if we don't get that fixed, it does have an impact then on the National Health Service. So it is incumbent on us. This is something that, being frankly honest, has eluded governments of different political persuasions. It's been an issue that's been rumbling on for years. So yes, of course, we'll get round the table and have those talks. But there are 2 caveats. One is we can't just then simply raise tax again, because there's already huge burden on taxpayers. And, we've got to rule out just borrowing money to pay for it, because they're already borrowing £250 billion more, which is a huge burden on the next generation who are going to have to pay that off. But with those 2 red lines, and also, of course, making sure that those people who've done the right thing through their life and saved for later on in life are not penalised for doing so. With those caveats, of course, we'll get round the table and see how we can fix social care for good.
Mr. Andrew, may I briefly just press you on what happened in Germany, in Berlin, over the weekend? We've seen a shocking attack at a Pride event there by what appears to be an Islamist extremist. This has caused quite a lot of uproar across the West, I think it's fair to say, at least Europe. In the UK, we know there's a serious problem. There's at least, from the last reports we heard, at least 45,000 potential Islamists on the watch list. Are we at breaking points here in Britain? Are we just sitting on a powder keg waiting to blow?
Well, I think I would here pay huge tribute to our security services. I mean, they do phenomenal work that often doesn't get reported because they have thwarted threats to us in the past. It is an enormous responsibility on them to keep us safe. We say, and I absolutely pay tribute to them, but we've all got to be vigilant. And it is sad that, we are in that position. I remember the attack on Westminster Bridge. I remember hearing the screams of people who've been victims of it. Those screams will haunt me forever. But we have all got to unite and say we're not going to put up with this. We will stand against any terrorists of whatever persuasion they are.
OK, Stuart, Andrew, thank you very much for joining us this morning on GB News Breakfast.
And now we're joined by GB News Deputy Political Editor Tom Harwood. Tom, this morning, of course, we've heard from the government about Ukraine, potential council tax and stamp duty plans. There's a lot going on at the moment. Tom, help us make sense of it all.
Yeah, certainly a huge amount going on. Let's start with some of what Andy Burnham said in his first major interview of his premiership over the weekend. He's going to try and slay some dragons that have bedraggled British politics for years, if not decades. Social care seems to be a priority of Andy Burnham. He has his own personal experiences in his family with regard to social care. Clearly, it's something at the forefront of his mind. And yet, one of the interesting things that we learned was that social care will not be revolutionised in this Parliament. There will be steps taken in this Parliament, but an entirely new system, that might well need a second Parliament. That might well need to come after, say, a general election, despite the fact that Andy Burnham said not once, not twice, but 3 times in that interview over the weekend that he did not want to call an early general election. I think there's some of his policy that does hint towards the need for an election perhaps before 2029. But that's by the by. There is another huge issue that Andy Burnham says that he is willing to confront, and that is the expanding welfare bill, as you've just been discussing. Extreme amounts of money are being spent on disability benefits specifically. Health and disability benefits in this country have now more taxpayers' money spent on them than the armed forces of this country. It's an astonishing statistic, and the previous Chancellor, Rachel Reeves, did try to cut this bill. She could see it was expanding to an extreme degree, and she tried to reduce the increase by £5 billion. Of course, that was the first famous defeat that the Starmer ministry suffered. Many people would say that the writing was on the wall for that Prime Minister at that point. The question is, will this new Prime Minister have more tact, more deftness when it comes to his own MPs in how he sells the need for reform?
Question, Tom. We still don't know the answer, do we? Thank you.
And the man suspected of driving a van into a crowd at Pride Parade in Berlin has been shot and killed after officials suggested it was an Islamist terror attack.
Well, Abdul B was a German citizen with Lebanese heritage and was previously arrested in Lebanon for trying to join ISIS and planning a terrorist attack.
1 person was tragically killed and at least 29 were injured when a van drove at high speeds into revellers. The suspect then emerged from the car and allegedly was attacking people with what many were describing as a machete.
Well, let's speak now to GB News' Home and Security Editor Mark White, who joins us now. Absolutely horrific scenes over the weekend, Mark.
Yeah, and this 21-year-old Abdul Balut, the Germans call him Abdul B because that's their privacy laws. We don't need to abide by that. His name was Abdul Balut. He was only 21 years old, but he had a long list of previous convictions, including for terrorist activity, robbery, and assault among the other items. But he had travelled last year, in May of last year, over to Lebanon, which his family, were initially from, to try to join up with the Islamic State terror group. He was arrested and convicted of that, only given 3 months in jail. When he was back in Germany, he was then convicted earlier this year of another offence of preparing an act of terrorism. But in that case, he was given a jail term of 1 year and 10 months, but that was effectively suspended. He was put under probation control instead for 6 months, and of course has gone on to carry out this horrific terror attack, and was eventually tracked down, as we know, last night in the Spandau area of West Berlin. He ran at police, armed police with a knife, apparently, and they shot him dead.
Yeah, well, I think that's probably the only good news out of all of it, is that he's no longer on this planet, frankly, Mark. I guess the question now, and the conversation that's been taking place, is how on earth is this so rampant across Europe? There is a serious ongoing threat here in Britain. We've been talking to the government today. We've put it to the shadow government as well, the Tories, about the threats here in Britain. We only heard a year ago that there was 20 attacks or so. It was foiled Iranian attacks on British soil, 45,000 or so Islamist terrorists on the MI5 watch list. And I do believe, and I think many people might believe, we're sitting on a powder keg.
Yeah, I mean, we heard a lot earlier than that. Just a couple of weeks back, I was at Scotland Yard for a terror briefing. They told us they were dealing with 800 live investigations at the moment. They are working harder now than they've worked for many years because of a resurgence of the threat. Islamist threat is chief amongst those. A resurgence of ISIS and Al-Qaeda is something that's very concerning as well. You asked about the situation in Europe. You're quite right. Germany has suffered very significantly from Islamist attacks of late, much of that being traced back to the very significant numbers of Syrians and other migrants that Angela Merkel allowed into Germany during her time in office. We've got a similar situation in France and in Belgium and other European countries who've all seen a rise in Islamist terrorism. And, you know, the issue about those who've been convicted of terrorism charges then being released and posing a potential threat is a very live one. It's a live one here as well, because many of the people that were convicted of terror offences back in the days of Al-Qaeda, or even more recently to do with the ISIS threat, many of them are at the end of their sentence or have already been released back into society. And it is a threat. We only need to think back to what happened at Fishmonger Hall in 2020, in November of that year, when a convicted terrorist released and attending a rehabilitation class killed 2 people, injured 3 others, and then was shot dead on that particular London bridge just by Fishmongers Hall. 3 months later, another terrorist who had been released from prison went on a stabbing rampage on Streatham High Road. Luckily was being tailed by the police at that time, who shot him dead. So it's a very live and potent threat. We're at severe, remember. In April of this year, our terror threat level went up to severe, meaning that an attack here is highly likely.
And yet, Mark, we still can't seem to have an open conversation with some politicians and people on the left, in my opinion, about radical Islam. And I think that is a huge part of the problem we have to stopping this in the future.
Mark, thank you for being across all of that for us. Thank you.
All right, well, it's still to come.
The school holidays are well underway, and British families are choosing, well, some of them at least, to holiday at home. We're going to be live in Poole to find out what Brits are loving most about this summer season. That's next.
Britain deserves a newsroom that puts the facts and your voice first.
Well, and that's what you get on GB News. Lively debates, lively conversation.
And we're not afraid to hold power to account.
And each other. So join me, Andrew Pearce.
And me, Miriam Cates, for Britain's Newsroom, weekdays from 9:30 on GB News.
Bold. They are under no illusion.
Ray,
Are you a human trafficker?
boundless. I've had enough of the nonsense, and I'm not afraid to say it.
Don't get us on the BBC.
Every weeknight, I tear through the headlines.
The smell of gasoline. Should we be worried about it?
From Westminster madness to cultural war chaos.
What we're going to do now is they are throwing things out the car as we speak.
Get ready, Britain. Here we go. Patrick Christie's tonight, weeknights from 9 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Here at GB News, we made a promise to tell your stories. And on the 6th of August, we're marking 5 years of doing exactly that.
Celebrate with us by having your say. Join in the debates live on TV and radio.
and meeting your favourite presenters across the country, from Leeds to Aberdeen, from Belfast to Barry Island.
Plus, join me in Essex for our biggest live show of the year. Scan the QR code or visit gbnews.com/celebrate. Terms and conditions apply.
From the school run to the home run, watch a new show for all of Britain.
He can say whatever he wants.
A straight talking show where all voices are heard.
And, you know, when are we going to stop talking about smashing the gangs and actually do it?
With the stories that matter from every part of our country.
There's a bit of a crash landing there for your Chancellor.
Bold, fearless and standing up for you. That's me, Martin Daubney, 3 p.m. till 6 p.m, weekdays, here only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Welcome to Free Speech Nation with me, Josh Howard. This is the show where each week we see what's happening in the world of culture, current affairs and politics.
First we'll say, welcome to the UK. Oh, thank you.
And we're not afraid to use our free speech so that you can use yours.
It's not controversial in the slightest to anyone who hasn't lost their mind.
Free Speech Nation, Sunday nights at 7 p.m, only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Some people enjoy lazy Sunday mornings, but not me.
What's the truth of the matter?
So that's a very live question.
Would you support him if he waters down these plans?
Before the spin sets in, I'll be getting to the truth.
This is personal.
No soft questions, no easy answers.
It's one thing if the state has rules in this country. It's another thing whether the police and others actually police them.
Setting the agenda and holding those in power to account.
You can't really blame her if the system is set up this way. You will not want to miss it, trust me.
The Camilla Tominey Show, Sundays from 9:30, only on GB News.
Welcome back to Breakfast. It's 9:19 and the school holidays are well underway and many British families are deciding to stay right here in the UK.
It's like Mediterranean weather though, isn't it? That's the thing.
Yeah, it's a great idea, I think.
Yeah, what are you doing? Let us know, gbnews.com/your say. But we are, as GB News, will be around the hotspots in Britain because that's what we do here. And we have got someone who was by a pool the last time we spoke to us.
Yeah.
GB News' South of England reporter, Isabel Fekulak. Isabel, have you had a dip?
Yes, absolutely. I've been cooling off, dipping my toes in here. Of course, we are waiting for a fourth heat wave, and what a summer we have had already. Mediterranean weather, 3 heat waves so far, record-breaking temperatures. Now, I've travelled today to the Haven Holiday Park in Poole. As you can see, people are getting ready for the day. The pool activities have begun, and this year it seems they've said that more and more people each year are staycationing, so choosing to holiday in the UK as opposed to going abroad. And this year they're expecting it to be a record-breaking year for holiday makers. And I'm going to chat to some people who have come down to Haven for a holiday here. Hello. Good morning. What made you come to Haven here in Poole? Have you come before?
I've never personally been to a Haven before, but I live and work in Southampton. It's a bit of a special occasion. It was Leona's 10th birthday on Saturday.
Happy birthday! Have you had a good time celebrating here?
Yes, I have.
Have you been involved in all the activities? I can see one going on in the pool behind us.
Yeah.
Yeah. And do you guys tend to go abroad, or have you chose to staycation more so recently?
We would generally tend to go abroad, but I think now with the cost of living crisis and things, I think we're trying to use our money a bit more locally and stay. And I mean, the weather's been absolutely amazing this weekend. I think down here when we were laying by the pool, we could have been anywhere in the world, really.
Absolutely, it's been Mediterranean weather, hasn't it? And we've got another heat wave coming, so why travel far when you've got the holiday sun on your doorstep?
Indeed, and sometimes it makes sense as well because you've got the environmental costs of flying, carbon dioxide footprint, and I know that's very important nowadays, global warming, etc. And it was just easy. You don't have to spend 2 hours queuing in an airport. You just drive down. It's very, very nice. This is one of the nicest parks I've ever been to, I think. And the facilities are excellent. Really enjoy it.
Absolutely. Thank you guys so much for coming on. We'll be chatting to lots more people throughout the day. I'll be trying some of the activities myself. As you saw, I was having a dip in the pool earlier. I might be on the climbing wall later on today, so stay with me. We'll see how Brits are making the most of the beautiful weather and Britain's beauty spots as well throughout the day.
Oh, good for you, Isabel. Make the most of it. Enjoy for all of us. See you later.
And coming up in just a few minutes' time at 9:30, Cameron Walker and Miriam Cates are here to tell us what's going on their programme. Hello.
Good morning, both of you. Well, second week of Andy Burnham. He's now
Feels
considering...
like a year already to me.
It does in a way. Well, there's been a year's worth of announcements compared to the previous governments. We'll have the latest on that. Also, has Donald Trump run out of missiles? What does this mean for Iran, but also the safety of the rest of the West?
Also, what might annoy a few of our viewers, £630 million of taxpayers' money has been spent by British police forces across the country since the murder of George Floyd on DEI policies. Could that money, we're asking this morning, be better spent on protecting the public?
So I can answer it for you. The answer is yes.
Oh, good.
But anyway, we'll let you guys get into the actual story and you can make your minds up at home yourself, can't you?
Yeah, indeed.
Yes.
And also the latest on the wildfires in Europe. I was actually in Biscarrosse, which is now in flames just 2 weeks ago. That's all coming up after the weather.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Box Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
Hello there, good morning. Welcome to your GB News weather update from the Met Office. Fewer showers around compared to what we had yesterday. Still very dry across much of England and Wales. Not only that, but we're also going to see temperatures climb through the early part of this week. For now, though, mostly dry for many areas. Some sunshine across much of the east. Clouding over from the west through the course of the morning. Just a few showers filtering through, but actually most of these easing away by the afternoon. So mostly dry day ahead for many areas. Some fairly decent sunny spells across much of England and Wales, certainly towards the south. This is where we'll see the best of the temperatures, highs of around 26 degrees Celsius, but even further north, highs widely in the low 20s, so still feeling warm in the brightness. Then to finish off the day, across many eastern areas of Scotland, it should be mostly dry, but there will still be some showers pushing in from the west, filtering through at times. Similar across Northern Ireland, some showers before some longer spells of rain just start to edge their way in further west. Some drizzly showers perhaps across northwest England and parts of Wales, but still very dry for many areas. Through the overnight period, we'll start to see a bit of a north-south split in our weather, turning